Good evening, everyone. I'm FOX4 meteorologist Joe Lauria. Coming up to 7 o'clock. New tornado warning now issued for part of our viewing area, and this would be for Franklin County. This would be the storm that we've been tracking going all the way back towards the Emporia area, and we've been watching this during the 6 o'clock show. This particular tornado warning is in effect for the areas in west central portions of Franklin County. This would be west of Ottawa. Ottawa, you are technically not included in this tornado warning. Pomona, though, you are, and the tornado warning is going to be again for Osage and Franklin County, and this is going to go up until roughly 7:30 or so as the storm continues to move off towards the east at around 25, close to 30 miles an hour. So Centropolis, Greenwood, Pomona, all included in this tornado warning, and that includes about 3,100. Now, so far what we've seen out of this storm is a lot of hail, upwards of golf ball size hail, if not something a little bit bigger than that. No reports of any tornadoes actually making it to the ground, no funnel clouds or anything like that. With that said, we've got radar indicated rotation, and that's what I want to go ahead and track now for you as it moves off towards the east. So the area of concern that we've got right now is right across the county line, right in through there. That would be the area of most concern, right between Osage County and Franklin County, just towards the northeast of Melbourne and just towards the west of Pomona. That general area right in through there. That's the main area of concern. That's the area where we're getting some radar indicated rotation. And with this moving off towards the east at around 30 miles an hour, that would take it through eventually central portions of Franklin County and northern portions of Franklin County as well. This does look like it's going to pass, at least this particular cell, towards the south of Lawrence. However, there are some other cells back there that we need to kind of keep an eye on. So a storm track for this general area right in through there, that area of rotation, off towards the east at around 25, close to 30 miles an hour. That would be taking it towards Pomona by about 7:04, Leloup at around 7:38, Wellsville by 7:48, Hillsdale Lake, if it maintains its strength, by about 8:02, and Spring Hill by about 8:14 or so. Just for perspective, here's Overland Park, there's DeSoto, here's Hillsdale Lake, there's Paola, there's Rantoul. And again, the area of concern is still well to your west, but it's a storm that has at times shown signs of rotation. They issued a tornado warning earlier just towards the west of Franklin County. Then they kind of dropped it, and now they've reissued it as that storm has progressed a little bit closer towards the west side of the metro area. In terms of the actual rotation, again, it's broad, it's not necessarily very focused, but if there was something in there, it would be probably right about there, just towards the west of the county line, just towards the west of Pomona. That would be very close to 68 Highway and 31 Highway, right in that general vicinity, hopefully passing just towards the north of Greenwood. But it's going to be very, very close to the Greenwood area, right now located about maybe 5 miles or so, just towards the west-northwest of Greenwood as it continues to move off towards the east at a pretty nice little clip. Again, around 25 miles an hour. I do want to broaden out our view just to kind of give you an idea what else is going on, because it's important when it comes to where Kansas City is in all of this. And aside from that one area down there, and there's also a tornado warning in effect for parts of Allen County, as I broaden out the view just a little bit more, just for perspective, here's Kansas City. So all of this is just towards the south and west of the metro area for now. But again, with the track of it kind of moving something along this line, northern Franklin County, the northern half of Franklin County, and I want to give you folks down towards Miami County, especially from Paola northward towards Gardner into far southern reaches of Johnson County on the Kansas side. Just a little heads up, I want you to be paying attention to that cell. The thing that, whether or not it's producing a tornado or not, it is producing some very, very large hail, and that's something that has been a constant with this particular storm. Our hail detector has been going pretty crazy here over the last about hour or so. We've gotten reports upwards of golf ball sized hailstones, maybe even something in the neighborhood of egg sized hailstones, somewhat similar to what happened up in the Parkville area last month, if you remember that. Our hail algorithm typically underdoes these things, but you can see there is a copious amount of hail being produced by this cell near and west of Pomona, south of Overbrook into Osage County, southeastern portions of Osage County. And again, that is moving into Franklin County as we speak. Meteorologist Jacob Lanier also on the other side of our studio, joining me now with an update on anything that he's noticed in the chat room. Jacob, rather.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. So we're watching kind of the environment, and we had been kind of talking all afternoon about how the cap was kind of the one limiting factor in today's storms. And unfortunately, that cap has eroded and been broken a little easier than we expected this afternoon, which is why this complex of storms is kind of erupting out here in central and eastern Kansas. So again, this tornado warning goes until 7:30. That's why we're tracking it. And this is only down in Franklin County. So it's just outside Ottawa, back to the west there on K68. So Centropolis, Pomona, Greenwood, Kansas. You need to go ahead and seek your tornado safe place right now. This is going to be moving into the town of Ottawa very shortly in the next 30 minutes, though. And so in Ottawa, especially if you live on the west side of Ottawa, go ahead and be thinking about getting to that safe location if you're out and about. If you have kids, family, friends, coworkers out still driving around, it's dinner time, coming home from work or whatever, you want to make sure that everyone's kind of getting towards a safer location. Here's the latest rotation tracker here from FOX4, and I'll kind of put our rotation arrow here. It's right along K68 at County Road or El Dorado Road there at Pomona on 68. Right near Quinamino and Pomona, and it's going to come in right towards K68 and Idaho Road. It's about 10 minutes away from reaching Idaho Road there at K68 out here in Franklin County. So what I want to do update you on is, Joe, I was looking in chat and the National Weather Service saying really at this point, and this is kind of the 10% scenario that we were concerned about, is once a storm gets going in today's environment without the cap, everything else is pretty much primed for severe weather, including a couple of tornadoes. And the tornado index right now, showing where there could be and most likely ingredients for a tornado, is pretty maxed out between Baldwin City, Williamsburg, Kansas, right there along Ottawa and I-35. And if this storm continues in this environment, really the only thing that's going to prevent it from weakening at this point is the downdraft to kind of rain down on itself or get wrapped up in itself with some of its outflow. So that's what we'll hope for. But right now, this is a pretty mature supercell. Eventually, if it holds together, these tornado ingredients would start to shift maybe towards Spring Hill, Paola, Gardner in about an hour or so. So we'll have to monitor that as this storm continues to track off towards the east. Also an update, we still have the tornado watch in effect until 11 p.m. This is essentially south of Interstate 70. It does include Wyandotte, Jackson counties. I think the threat is a little bit further higher the further south you get of the 435 loop. So southern Johnson County down into Miami County, Cass County, Bates, Lynn County. Those are the counties I would certainly be watching our weather updates all evening long as these storms will be slowly tracking off towards the east. What's the latest speed, Joe? I think is it 35 miles per hour?
Yeah, roughly 30.
Okay.
And the other thing that I want to bring up is as the sun starts going down, this is one of the things that we were talking about during the 6 o'clock show, and I was sending out some tweets about this. The atmosphere on the Kansas side is, especially closer to the state line, is a little bit more conducive to allow these storms to rotate a little bit easier as the winds just above the surface start to increase. That kind of gets sucked into the storm and allows the storm to kind of start rotating just a little bit more efficiently. Again, we haven't had any reports of any actual tornadoes. There are some storm chasers chasing this particular cell, so I'm sure if they spotted something, we get a report to tweet about it. But we are seeing hail reports, and that's been a constant with this storm when it developed towards the west of Emporia during the 5 o'clock hour, give or take a few minutes. And we've seen golf ball size hailstones, something maybe a little bit larger than that, associated with this cell. So if for no other reason to kind of protect the cars, if you can, Really good idea for you folks in northern Franklin County, northern Miami County, southern portions of Johnson County, especially from Gardner and Spring Hill southward down 169 rather, towards Paola and Osawatomie. Go ahead and get those cars in the garage. Don't leave them outdoors over the next couple of hours or so as that storm continues to get a little bit closer to you. Right now, we've got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning, and this is going to be for the southeastern portion of Shawnee County, which is out towards Topeka, but it also includes southwestern portions of Douglas County. That would be just towards the south and west of Lawrence, and you can kind of see it popping up right there. That would be this particular yellow outline. That's our new severe thunderstorm warning. And hail sizes with this, again, could be somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 2 inches in diameter. So that's certainly a concern with this storm moving off towards the east at around 35 miles an hour or so. And as I mentioned, our particular hail algorithm has a tendency to underdo these type of cells, and it's cranking out quarter size to near ping pong ball size hailstones just towards the west of Pomona. So that would be something that you folks in the Pomona area should be aware of. I'm going to put a track just on this larger hail core as it moves off towards the east at roughly 30 miles an hour or so. And that would take it towards Pomona in the next few minutes, eventually towards Ottawa by about 7:31. So in about 20 minutes, this is going to be moving into the Ottawa area. So plenty of time for you folks in Ottawa to go ahead and get those cars perhaps into a garage or something like that. La Loupe by about 7:47. That would be right there. We'll see whether or not that storm maintains its hail production as it gets a little bit closer towards the state line. But for you folks certainly in Franklin County from 59 Highway westward, be aware for the potential of some larger hail. The tornadic threat with this is probably going to pass towards the south of Lawrence, the way things are looking right now. Just for a little perspective, here's Lawrence right there, and our tornadic cell down there towards Pomona is passing south of the Lawrence area. Now, there might be some hail with some of this activity, Carbondale down towards Fairfax over in Osage County, but the main core of this supercell thunderstorm is down towards and maybe just towards the west of Pomona. Again, for you folks in Baldwin City, I want you to make sure you've got your cars in a safe spot in a garage if you can, just in case some of these hailstones coming out of this storm do damage. 1 to 2 inch hailstones will definitely do damage with this particular cell. But again, the main tornado warning aspect of this, and again, this is just radar indicated, nothing reported as of yet on the ground to our knowledge, is over towards the Pomona area, and it's moving towards the east at roughly 30 miles an hour, give or take a little bit, maybe just a little bit east-northeast at around 30 miles an hour. So again, around the Ottawa area, if it maintains that low-level rotation in the Ottawa area by about 7:31, and if it maintains that low-level rotation, the ability of producing a tornado, that would be heading towards Hillsdale Lake by about 8:09. Here's the county border between Franklin County and Miami County. This is all going to be well south of I-70. This is going to be well south of 435 and well south of K10. So for the vast majority of the KC metro area, this is going to be a near miss and a pass towards the south. But for our friends down towards Franklin County and Miami County, we're certainly concerned about you, and particularly for Franklin County, with not only the hail out of this particular storm, but the risk of at least a very quick hitting type of tornado that may try to develop. Jacob's got a cool picture. I could see it in the big screen. Jacob.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. So this is the look from our Overland Park cameras. We're looking southwest towards the storm. So this shows you how big it is. And Joe, I think we were even talking earlier this afternoon how this overshooting top and kind of the outflow at the top of this anvil is now almost shadowing the entire Kansas City metro. It's gotten darker out there. And that's from the outflow at the top of this storm that's getting pushed over the KC area. So as we look south and west, we can see where the sunshine is. We can see the southern edge of the storm. This is where there is the lowering of the supercell. Obviously, we are far away from this about, give or take, maybe 50 miles or so. And that is what, as we get hopefully a closer view of this at some point. I've been looking. None of the storm chasers I have seen on this storm right now have seen a touchdown, but that does not mean that it's not on the ground. And the more that I look at this, the more this is a classic tornado supercell signature. So I'll give you kind of the measurement from this storm, looking there from Overland Park down to where the storm is. Yeah, it's almost 45 miles there to the heart of that rotation. And as Joe was tracking for you, moving off towards the east at about 35 miles per hour. So when we look at this, almost textbook right over Pomona where we have this notch, and that's where it would be the wrapping around of winds. That's where the rotation is, and possibly if there's a tornado on the ground, that's where debris could be bring lofted as well. And this is tracking right towards Ottawa, right along K68 over the next 20 to 25 minutes. Would not be surprised here shortly if they extend this tornado warning downstream to give an early heads up, or as much of a heads up as possible for the rest of Franklin County. And this is kind of a storm that is pretty more organized now. So there's a hail core on the north side of it. That's this purple shading. That's just north of K68, and the rotation and possible tornado is just south of K68, almost tracking due east. So we'll turn on the winds here and zoom in, and unfortunately this is just not in a great radar spot. We're looking from Topeka and Pleasant Hill, and there's storms in the way, kind of congesting the way this looks. So I'm looking on both sides. From the Topeka radar, it looks a little bit more organized. We're still staying it here though in the mid levels of the atmosphere, but I'll just go ahead and query this for you. Oh, yep.
Yeah, we got a confirmed tornado now over Pomona. Confirmed tornado over Pomona right now. So for you folks in the Pomona area and just towards your east, I want you to go ahead and take cover from this tornado. A tornado warning continues in effect now for Franklin County. This is going to go up until about 7:30 or so. And for those of you in this particular tornado warning, I want you to go ahead and take cover, get into your safe spot, and get yourself protected from this now confirmed tornado that is coming through Franklin County, a confirmed tornado around Pomona. So for your safe spot, when a tornado warning is issued, try not to panic, do your best you can on this one. I want you to get yourself down towards a basement, a storm cellar if you have one, if not, some sort of bathroom, lowest floor of your residence. If you live in an apartment building, I want you to go ahead and get into a bathroom if you can. If you know the downstairs neighbors, go ahead and knock on their door, get yourself as low to the ground as you can. That would be your safe spot. I don't want you to be upstairs. I don't want you to be outside looking for a tornado. You probably are hearing the sirens if you live in parts of Franklin County. I just want you to be in a safe spot. And if you know somebody who may not be paying attention to the weather, give them a call, give them a text if they live around Pomona, and especially if they live west of Ottawa, west of 59 Highway into west central portions of Franklin County. I want them to be sure they know what's ahead of them as the storm continues to move off towards the east at around 35 miles, or actually 30 miles an hour. Again, this is now a confirmed tornado reported. This would be around Ottawa, around Pomona. And it's moving towards the east at around 35 miles an hour. So we'll go ahead and put a storm track on this. Again, right around Pomona, moving east, and that's going to take it towards Ottawa probably sometime in the next about 13 minutes. I am expecting an extension of this tornado warning to continue to move it along into Franklin County, particularly along 68 Highway and just a little bit south of 68 Highway. And again, if it maintains its intensity, it'll be moving towards the county line of Franklin and Miami County and heading towards the Hillsdale Lake area by about 8:09. But that's the reason why we've now changed to a purplish color with our tornado warning. It means that a tornado has been observed in the Pomona area. This is affecting roughly 2,700 people down towards Franklin County. For those of you in Osage County, if you're watching us, that's kind of right on the fringe of our viewing area. You have now been removed from that tornado warning. So the tornado warning now is just in effect for the Pomona area. Here's Greenwood. The worst is going to pass just towards your north of Greenwood, and it's going to be seemingly paralleling the highway that goes from Ottawa towards Pomona. So that would be right 68 highway. For you folks, here's a little bit more of a street level view for you. Here's the community of Iowa, or Ottawa rather. There's 58 highway, or yes, 58 highway and 68 highway. So 59, I'm sorry, and 68 highway. Here's Pomona. So that rotation now would be just towards the east. The tornado is now moving east of Pomona, and that's heading right towards, I believe that's Idaho Road. That's where you could clearly see this little area where the winds are coming into the storm and hooking around. So this is clearly our hook echo. Here's Greenwood. So again, it's passing just towards the north of Greenwood by a couple of miles, but it is heading on its current path right towards the community of Ottawa. Now that tornado warning technically does not include Ottawa, so I'm not sure if the sirens are going off in Ottawa or not, since that warning does not include you. They very well may be. But if they're not, be prepared, because again, I am expecting probably this tornado warning to get extended towards the Ottawa area. Here's Main Street once again in Ottawa, 68 highway, and here is our notch. This is where we're probably going to find our tornado, passing just towards the north of Greenwood and just towards the east of Pomona. We did have a confirmed report of a tornado in the Pomona area just a few minutes ago. Haven't gotten any reports of any damage at this point, but it's certainly something that is something that you got to be paying attention to. No doubt about it. If you live in Franklin County, let's go ahead and get you all into your safe spot. Our areas of rotation showing up right now, again, out towards Idaho Road, right in this general area of 68 Highway, Franklin County, Idaho Road, 68 Highway, east of Pomona, heading towards the Ottawa area. Let me get it over to Jacob on the other side. Jacob.
Yeah, okay, Joe, so I'm looking here at the debris signature, and that's what I'm monitoring. Maybe this is where they saw some of the confirmation. There's a little bit of a lowering. We can see kind of the yellow there inside this circle, and that might be an indication of debris possible. And it's also looking like the spotter who is on this storm is saying that there is debris in the air, but they can't see it touching the ground. So that's how we know there's a tornado, because debris is in the clouds, debris is in the air. We don't have a visual on the ground because the storm spotter a little bit further away from this storm. But again, this is now a confirmed tornado here in Franklin County and Ottawa, Kansas. I don't want you to wait any longer. I think now's the time in the city of Ottawa to take your tornado precautions. We're still waiting on the tornado warning to be extended downstream. This is essentially already moving into town right now, especially on the west side. And our latest ETA puts it in downtown Ottawa in 10 minutes. And there's the new tornado warning that just came out, and this now takes it to the county line of Franklin and Miami. So Ottawa, Kansas, you're now under a confirmed tornado warning. Please seek shelter now. Again, that's a room interior, away from windows. You want to get as many walls between you and outside as possible, preferably underground in a basement or storm cellar, if you can do that as well. So right now, the tornado is confirmed just south of K68, and it's essentially paralleling K68. So that means it's going to come in on the south side of Ottawa if it holds this track and cross Interstate 35 in Franklin County in about 10 minutes. So our latest ETA for downtown Ottawa, 7:32. That puts it crossing I-35 around 7:34. So even if you have friends, family, or know anyone that's driving on I-35 here through Franklin County, call them, let them know to stop and wait for this tornado warning to pass. So it's a confirmed tornado warning here, again, between Pomona and Greenwood, Kansas, and that's going to be along 59 Highway and Main Street in Ottawa in the next 10 minutes. I do want to get an update here on a rotation tracker, and it looks like the latest scan will zoom in here down to the street level so I can show you exactly where this is. This is right, it just now has crossed Idaho Road. So this is K68, this is Idaho Road, this is the confirmed tornado, and we are not far from the city of Ottawa. I'm going to measure this here and see. 5 miles. Yeah, so I mean, this is going to be here along Eisenhower Avenue in 3 miles on the southwest side of town. So again, Eisenhower Avenue going to be kind of the first street that's impacted by this confirmed tornado. And Joe, that's now a matter of minutes away.
Yeah, I want to kind of Not our view, just for those of you who are just flipping the channels, a little perspective. Here's Kansas City. We are under that tornado watch till 11 o'clock. As Jacob mentioned, though, a little while ago, seems like the main threat of any tornadic weather is going to be in this corridor right in through here. So probably passing south of I-70, more than likely passing south of 435. But just for perspective, this is our brand new tornado warning, including the community of Ottawa. This is going to go for about another half hour to 45 minutes or so, close to 8 o'clock. And I want again to remind everybody in Miami County, from roughly Paola northward to near Spring Hill, right along the county line, that a tornado warning is possible for you in the next about half hour or so. So start thinking about your safe spot if you live in Miami County, especially the northern half of Miami County. That seems to be a little bit problematic right now with this storm coming out of Franklin County. Again, confirmed tornado reported not only over Pomona earlier, but also about 4 or 5 miles or so towards the east of Pomona, and that's associated with that little area right in through there. So it looks like this new tornado warning that's just been issued, which includes Ottawa, the northern half of Franklin County, and that does include the I-35 corridor into Franklin County, that will eventually replace this previous tornado warning for the southwest and west central portion of Franklin County. And again, this is going to go until 8 o'clock. It includes Ottawa, it includes Wellsville, and now we're looking at roughly 14,500 people who are now in the path of this potentially tornadic supercell, or actually it is a tornadic supercell with that confirmed report just a few minutes ago. Again, for a storm track for you, it's right in through here that the tornado is right now, again confirmed, and that would be heading towards Ottawa by about 7:29, Rantoul by about 7:54, Hillsdale Lake by 8:08, Paola by about 8:17, and let's see whether or not it holds together. And that's a big question as it gets towards the state line. Does it maintain its full intensity? Lewisburg by about 8:35. And in addition to the situation with the tornado, this storm is also producing some very large hail as well. Probably something in the neighborhood of egg-sized hailstones near and just towards the north and east of Pomona. So that too will be passing, especially from the Ottawa area to maybe about 5 miles or so up towards the north of Ottawa and up towards the north of 68 Highway. So if you live in that general area from Ottawa 5 miles north, be prepared for some large and damaging hail in addition to the risk of a tornado with that storm as it continues to move off towards the east at around 35 miles an hour. If you live in the Centropolis area, you might get some hail from this, some locally heavy rains, but the worst of that is going to pass south of Centropolis.
Joe, I think we have a camera from Ottawa on I-35 that we can go ahead and take.
Okay, check it out.
MoDOT has turned the camera north over the rest stop, and so this is looking from I-35 northwest into Ottawa. And I think what we're seeing is the hail core to the left, the wall cloud to the left, the hail core to the right. So this is the storm right now, and I think behind that shelter, the bathrooms, the tree there to the left of the pole, that's the wall cloud. That is the tornado that is confirmed now moving into Ottawa. This is the view from Interstate 35. We're looking into the supercell that is in Franklin County. So again, on the left side of your screen, that lowering right over the bathrooms and the trees, I think that's the wall cloud. The hail core is on the right side of your screen. And I want to just keep this up, or I don't even know if you can punch it behind me here on the big board. But this is the tornado. And at some point, Joe, this is going to track right over I-35. And essentially, this tornado is now on the south side of Ottawa. And that is where it is now kind of crossing and nearing 59 Highway within the matter of the next few moments. It looks like the peak rotation right now is approaching Eisenhower Avenue there on the west side of town. So I've been trying to look at the velocity mode here. And we're really just kind of relying on the radar at this point because the velocities are so high up in the storm and we can see where the hook is. Okay, so we can come back here quickly to me at the big board and I'll show you again. So that is the view of the storm from I-35 looking into it. So we were just seeing the wall cloud. That is the confirmed tornado, which is now between Idaho Road and Eisenhower Road. Here's Eisenhower Road on the southwest side of Ottawa. Everyone in the city of Ottawa should be in your tornado safe place now. You should have been there minutes ago because this is a confirmed tornado tracking right on K68 into the city of Ottawa. And I think, unfortunately, if this is still on the ground as we assume it is and have reports that it's on the ground, we're going to be getting power outage reports. We're going to be getting damage reports from Ottawa here shortly. And this will hopefully miss the bulk of the town just on the south side. But boy, it's going to be a close call. And this is essentially now at Eisenhower and Marshall Road. And that's going to be moving towards I-35. Can we take that camera one more time? I just want to see because the storm's approaching it. Oh, there it is behind me. Okay, so it looks like they've turned it back. So this, Joe, what do you think?
Maybe.
That should be what it is, I think. That might be the tornado or something close. It looks like Scud, but that would be it, right? That is it, I think. Now that I'm seeing the motion on it, that's rotating. This is the likely tornado that's on the ground moving into Ottawa. Okay, we just moved it back again. Okay, so we'll come back to the radar. Joe, if you want to take it.
Yeah,
I'm talking with KDOT so that we can keep it on that.
All right, so the area of rotation, and it's kind of interesting when I analyze radar off air just a little bit, there actually might be weirdly two areas of rotation with this. One perhaps right on top of Ottawa and another one perhaps just towards the west of Ottawa. Perhaps this is the more dominant thing, but we've got a little thing right there and we've got a little thing right here. So I'm wondering if that's the reason why when Jacob was showing us that particular shot, we saw two darkish areas, the one he was pointing out, and then perhaps a larger, more darkish area where something might be wrapped up in perhaps some rain. If maybe we're seeing that on radar as well. Something may be there and something may be there. Again, this is 68 Highway. If you live in the Pomona area, again, we did get a report of a tornado in Pomona. You are now safe from this cell as it has moved towards your east. We'll keep an eye on what's going on west of Pomona here in just a second. This would be Highway 59. Here's I-35 right in through there. So here's Ottawa, and the one or two areas of rotation are right in through here. All right, perhaps a little disorganized, but that looks pretty good as it moves, and I say pretty good in a bad way, as it moves closer to the community of Ottawa, right in through there. That's bothersome, no doubt about that. And as we kind of point out, this is going right towards Ottawa. If you live in Ottawa, it's really now time to get into your safe spot. Please make sure you do so. Again, we have confirmed reports of tornadoes with this cell as it's been moving through the west central portion of Franklin County. It looks like that circulation would be right around or just towards the south of 68 Highway, but very close to 68 Highway as it comes right into the Ottawa area, and then especially on the south side of Ottawa down towards I-35. So roughly from 68 Highway to I-35, that corridor, I want you to go ahead and make sure you are, no doubt about it, real deal, get yourself into your safe spot right now. And this also concerns areas off towards the I-35 corridor. Again, roughly from 68 down towards I-35, down towards, east of 59, right along Marshall Road. That seems to be kind of one of the good markers here to where that tornado may go, right along the Marshall Road area, give or take maybe a couple of miles north or south of there, right along Marshall Road, Main Street, 68 Highway, and just towards the south, Marshall Road out towards 35 right there. Again, if you know anybody in that vicinity, make sure they are in their safe spot as that potentially and more than likely tornado continues to move off towards the east at around 25 miles an hour or so. Again, this is going to pass towards the south of Lawrence. This is going to pass north of Garnett. That's down into Anderson County. So again, just a little perspective for you as we broaden out the view very briefly for those of you flipping the channels, whatever the case may be, just to kind of give you an idea. The main concern is down here towards Franklin County around Ottawa. All right, that really looks impressive on a radar scan. I mean, that's everything you look for when it comes to spotting a tornado from a radar standpoint. Here's Lawrence, so the worst of this is passing south of Lawrence, and the worst passing south of Baldwin City, south of Centropolis. You folks in Rantoul, be aware of what's going on with that cell. It'll probably pass just to your north, but I'm a little nervous about you folks down towards the Rantoul area, but I'm much more nervous about the folks in the central portion of Franklin County and into Ottawa, where we continue to have our tornado warning, confirmed tornado a little while ago, near and just towards the west of the community of Ottawa. So again, let's just assume with a little bit of a radar lag that this thing now is right pretty much on top of Ottawa as it continues to move off towards the east, pretty much parallel to 68 Highway, that Marshall Road area. Hail, more than likely up towards La Loupe. Norwood could have some rather large, damaging, destructive hail, perhaps even Wellsville over towards 32 Highway. But again, the tornadic risk is right in through here, right on top of the community of Ottawa. Here's 35. If you know anybody coming down from Kansas City, because we're just kind of finished rush hour about an hour ago, but by the time they get down into Franklin County, that would be about now. They're probably going to run into at least some decent hail, decent sized hail, and I don't want them driving into the community of Ottawa right now. So if possible, I want them to stop, send them a text just saying, hey, for the next about half hour or so, just hang out in Wellsville, let this nasty cell pass to your south, and then you'll be able to get in behind that cell and head down towards Ottawa and down 35 as you continue your journey down further south and west of Franklin County. But for the time being, I want everybody to avoid this northern part, if you can, of Franklin County, and especially anything around Ottawa. This whole 35 Highway corridor vicinity from near and just north of 68 Highway down towards the south and west of Ottawa. Let's give that about 15 to 30 minutes to allow this cell to move off towards the east at close to 35 miles an hour. Jacob.
Yeah, so Joe, the time frame on that moving east is Paola at about 8:10. And Hillsdale Lake at about 8:05, probably going to pass just south of Hillsdale Lake. This could still wobble, though, because that's about 40 minutes away. So, again, the tornado is crossing Main Street on the south side of Ottawa right now, tracking parallel to K68 now through eastern Franklin County. And pretty shortly, probably once this crosses Interstate 35, this tornado warning will be extended into Miami County. Would not be shocked if that happens. Can we take that KDOT camera one more time? I just want to see what it looks like from the rest area looking up at this storm. It's essentially crossing Interstate 35 right now at the Ottawa exits. There's the view, and essentially we are now kind of on the back side of the tornado now that we're looking up towards the north and west. It's almost past this camera now. So KDOT's kind of working with us to move this camera around, which I really appreciate them doing. And so right now you can just kind of see the gray skies. Okay, so we can kind of come back here. And again, these radar scans, they take about 3 or 4 minutes to go fully around. So this radar image now is about 2 minutes old, which means that the tornado, which is right here, is now a couple blocks, maybe a mile further east. So it is crossing Interstate 35 here at Ottawa. So again, just the streets of where this tornado is right now. It's crossing Main Street. It is now on the east side of town. So this is going to be Mulberry Street, which is 15th Street and 17th Street or 7th Street. And so it's east of Main Street. So all of these locations here right along 15th Street is probably where it's tracking. Also, I do want to let you know that our FOX4 Storm Ranger is en route. And as soon as we get to Ottawa, we will have live images of hopefully not a lot of damage. Hopefully it's just power outages at the worst case scenario, but we already have our Storm Ranger crew en route down to Franklin County, and we're going to have those live images as soon as we can this evening. So still waiting on some more updates from the National Weather Service. It looks like the National Weather Service in Pleasant Hill is still kind of waiting to extend this downstream. We'll put on the rotation tracker, and this is still pretty decent, unfortunately, rotation. Again, this is a couple minutes old, right at 15th Street and Main Street on the south side of Ottawa. So the tornado has probably just missed the city center of Ottawa barely, and is now crossing Interstate 35 at 15th Street, which turns into Marshall Road there. Again, paralleling K68, and this is down here in Franklin County. So this tornado warning continues. It's an observed tornado until 8 o'clock, and it includes Ottawa and areas east of Ottawa along K68. It looks like the supercell behind this back in Fairfax, Kansas, is just a severe thunderstorm warning. We're going to see if they extend this across the county line into Miami County over the next several minutes. So here's the wider view. Again, if you're in the Kansas City metro, yes, we are technically in the tornado watch, but the one storm that's really producing a tornado right now is off to our south and southwest. So that's the view down in Ottawa. It's down I-35. You can, if you're in Johnson County, especially if you look southwest, you can see the lightning in those clouds. My goodness. In fact, I'll take the Overland Park camera again and show you what that cloud looks like here as we're looking south from Johnson County down along Interstate 35. And again, it's only about now 30 miles away south of Overland Park. That's the dark sky from the storm and some of the lightning that's happening definitely off towards the south. We'll have to continue to drag that camera off towards the south. Joe, got an update?
Yeah, I do have an update.
Okay.
It's not a good one. Tornado reported on the ground in Ottawa, 15th and Eisenhower.
Yep, right
moving
there.
off towards the east. This would be in Ottawa, Kansas. Confirmed tornado reported at 15th and Eisenhower in the city of Ottawa. And that's roughly about a city of close to 13,000 people or so. So that would be this area right in through here. All right, so here's Ottawa. This would be on the south side of Ottawa. Here's 68. This is Eisenhower Road, and this is where we have a confirmed tornado on the ground as we speak. This would be just towards the west, if you will, of I-35, which goes through Franklin County, which kind of goes through or just towards the east of Ottawa. So right through there, it's moving off towards the east. Radar just came in with a brand new scan a second ago. So now we're looking at perhaps right there. You could clearly see this area of rotation that we're concerned about. Right there, confirmed tornado with this 15th Street, pretty much right along Marshall Road. That general vicinity is where we've got a confirmed tornado. Again, this is a very strong signal on radar, and with spotters reporting a confirmed tornado, 15th Street, I-35. That intersection, please make sure if you know anybody coming down I-35 that they don't drive into this. I don't want them to drive into this likely now rain-wrapped tornado. They may not be able to see it until it's too late. So a confirmed tornado on the ground, 15th Street, Franklin County, Marshall Road, moving now towards the east and maybe just a little bit towards the south and east of Ottawa, and now moving along Marshall Road, moving through west, or actually check that, east central portions now of Franklin County, east central portions of Franklin County. What's that, Jacob?
There are power flashes in the city of Ottawa.
Okay.
So they're getting those power outage reports, which are just now coming in.
Okay.
And we're also looking like we're about to get a debris signature. Oh, there it is. There's the debris signature, confirmed debris on radar from Pleasant Hill, and is now right on 15th Street at I-35. So this green dot here that I've circled, that is debris from the confirmed tornado on the southeast side of Ottawa. So the tornado has done damage in Ottawa. That debris is now being lofted into the tornado and into the main supercell. And we're seeing that debris all the way from Pleasant Hill, which to me means, Joe, that this tornado has lofted debris pretty high up.
Yeah.
So this is not a low end, this is not an EF0 probably tornado. This is probably an EF1 tornado, maybe EF2. Of course, we'll know that later once the damage is surveyed. And it looks like there's an even bigger debris signature higher up in the atmosphere right along Interstate 35. So the tornado is almost done hitting the south side of Ottawa, Kansas. Confirmed tornado warning continues for 8 o'clock here in Franklin County. The tornado right now is between K68 and Marshall Road, tracking off towards the east. Paola, you're about 30 minutes away from this supercell, and we're going to continue to monitor it as it moves off towards the east. We will see moments if this warning is extended across the Miami County line, which I assume it will, considering the nature of this confirmed tornado. Classic supercell. It is pouring rain with even some hail from Wellsville to Norwood in northern Franklin County. This is the Hook Echo that has just moved through Ottawa, right over Main Street, right over Eisenhower. The tornado has done damage, caused power flashes, and we have debris in the tornado as this is now crossing Interstate 35. So this is what we call a debris ball, and is now enhancing in the Hook Echo as this storm moves due east. So it's right along K68, tracking towards this county line between Miami and Franklin County. And it'll be there probably in about 10, 15, 20 minutes. So that's what we're gonna have to watch for closely. And so the debris signature, again, there it is. And that's a pretty stout debris signature. It's this, the blue now, right along Interstate 35. So, Joe, this is a pretty strong storm. You know, it's definitely not a weak tornado.
No.
This is a supercell tornado. This is not a spin-up tornado. This is a full-on supercell, and it continues to do damage in Franklin County.
And for the Ottawa area, we have reports now of power outages on the north side in particular of Ottawa. You folks in Franklin County, again, take this storm seriously, especially now off towards the east of Ottawa with a confirmed tornado on the ground. The tornado warning continues for about another 16 minutes for Franklin County. Again, a heads up for you folks down towards Miami County on the Kansas side. We're probably going to see a new tornado warning coming for you sometime soon, especially from Paola northward towards Hillsdale Lake. We've got other severe thunderstorm warnings. This brand new one came out for Lynn County, Kansas. That's going to go until about 8:30. Douglas, parts of Osage, parts of Shawnee, Kansas still under Shawnee County, Kansas still under a severe thunderstorm warning, and there are other severe thunderstorm warnings down towards Anderson County as well. For those of you who are in the path and in a tornado warning, since for you folks who live on the south side, this is going to be perhaps your first time with going through something like this, again, it indicates that something's been spotted or indicated on radar. In this particular case, it has been spotted. It is a confirmed tornado now just towards the east of Ottawa. Get yourself into your safe spot, something lowest to the ground if possible, basement. If you have a storm cellar, that would be optimal. But I don't want you to be upstairs in your home. I want you to be as low to the ground as you could possibly be, perhaps in a bathroom, in a closet, something away from windows if at all possible. And if you know anybody east of Ottawa in Franklin County, send them a phone call, get them a text, just so that in case they're not paying attention, in case they're taking a nap, whatever the case may be, so that they know what's coming their way. Not only tornadic weather, but also large hail and destructive hail coming from this storm as well. And we've seen instances where we've gotten close to 2.5-inch hailstones coming out of this storm as it's been moving through Franklin County. So the concern right now is right here, near and just towards the east of Ottawa. This is down towards Franklin County. So roughly now, if you live towards the west of 59 Highway, you're kind of in the clear for the time being, although there's still some more activity back here towards Osage County around the Fairfax, Kansas area, south of Carbondale. It's not tornadic, but it might be producing some hail as it moves towards Centropolis. So Centropolis, you missed out on the tornadic circulation of the storm, but there's still some activity west of Centropolis that would be coming your way, and the same thing could be said for Baldwin City. Again, the main concern right now is down here towards Franklin County in particular, and that's going to be just towards the south of Wellsville and moving off towards the east at close to 30 miles an hour. The hope is, as this gets a little bit closer to the state line, that perhaps it goes through some sort of structural change and maybe we could lose the tornadic potential just a little bit. But now that the sun is going down, the winds just above the surface have a tendency at night to start to increase in strength, and that can provide enough oomph again to create a better low-level area of rotation. So that's what we were concerned about during the 6 o'clock show, and that's what we're watching for as the storm continues to move off towards the east. Again, here's Hillsdale Lake, here's Paola. The hope is, if you will, is that it parallels 68 all the way through and perhaps goes north of Paola and south of Hillsdale Lake. I'm not comfortable, though, giving you full assurances on that. We'll see if there's any movement change to this storm as it continues to move off towards the east, heading towards Hillsdale Lake by about 8:15, Wagstaff by about 8:27. I see Jacob's got a camera punched up behind him. Jacob.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. So this is up in Wellsville. So this is on the north side of the storm near the hail core of the storm, and you can kind of see the really heavy rain there falling. Visibility dropped shortly. It's actually improving now. As we come back here to the radar, I have a new severe thunderstorm warning for southwestern Johnson County and western Miami County. This is going to go until 8:30 for a possible tornado and 2-inch hail in the hailstorm. That's going to be between Edgerton and Wellsville, tracking possibly towards Spring Hill shortly. So there's a hail core crossing I-35, and this severe warning is for 2-inch hail. The National Weather Service telling us that we will likely get this tornado warning extended here into Miami County shortly. And Joe, you were actually just mentioning it, how as this storm kind of cycles through, the rotation actually might jog to the north side of K68, just barely over in Miami County. So that's something we're going to have to watch closely. Okay, so I'm going to look now here at our Hillsdale Lake camera and see if we can get a view from it, because this is now the closest camera we have down in Miami County. So we've turned it back towards the west. I'm pretty sure we're looking towards the west, and we can see some of the lightning there. It's going to be hard from this angle to see a tornado or lowering because we're still a good ways away from the storm, probably about 20 miles. But this is something we're going to be watching. If the hail core comes right over Hillsdale Lake, we're going to see it right here. So that's what we're going to have to watch closely. Back to our FOX4 rotation tracker here behind me. We have the rotation right now sitting east of Ottawa, right along K68, and it continues to remain decently strong. So the rotation is going to be maximized right here. So that's at Tennessee Road, K68, approaching Vermont Road at K68. And the tornado warning has now been extended or confined to remove the city of Ottawa from the warning. So Ottawa, you are in the clear from this tornado warning, but behind this, there is still another severe thunderstorm coming into Ottawa, and that is back near the Fairfax area and moving in from the west. So Ottawa, yeah, the tornado warned storm is moving away, but this next severe storm could possibly just clip Pomona and Ottawa as well. Again, our FOX4 storm ranger en route to Ottawa to start to assess damage. We have several reports of downed power lines, downed trees. There were power flashes as the tornado moved through the south side of Ottawa. This is the history of the tornado tracks over the last hour. So the blue and purple would be the highest rotation. So over the last 30 minutes, it really went on the south side, right along 15th Street, Marshall Road, through Eisenhower, through Maine, and now the tornado is further off towards the east. Now moving towards Vermont and Tennessee Road. The tornado is going to essentially be at Tennessee and K68 right now. So we'll put an updated storm track on this to time it out for northern Miami County. So there is the rotation. It's moving off towards the east, still at about 25 miles per hour. So right now, it looks like the tornado is going to be on the north side of Paola in about 25 minutes. It's going to be approaching 169 Highway around 8:20, towards Wagstaff 8:30, Lewisburg by 8:40. So this is the zone where now we're probably going to see a tornado warning issue soon. If you live in the northern half of Miami County, especially from Paola north up towards the Johnson County line, be thinking, okay, where are we going to go? Where's the tornado safe place? A reminder, that's an interior room away from outside windows and doors. You want as many walls between you and outside as possible. And also you want to possibly get underground if you can. That would be a storm cellar, storm shelter, a basement if you have one. And right now the storm complex is slowly starting to near the southwest side of the metro. So Johnson County, a lot of lightning incoming. The worst severe weather is probably just south, but Edgerton, Spring Hill, definitely at a hail risk from this supercell, I would say, as these are the two supercells that have essentially broken the cap today and are now moving just on the south side of the metro. I'll take another view here from our Overland Park camera. Reminder, tornado watch continues for Miami, Johnson, Jackson, Cass counties until 11 o'clock. Here's our view from Overland Park. We're kind of just looking into the rain and hail shaft at this point from the north side of the storm. Certainly plenty of lightning down there, and this should miss Overland Park on the south side, the rotation, that is for certain. Here's another view from the Hillsdale Lake camera we're watching for the hail core that will be approaching shortly down there in Miami County. So this is the cluster of storms we're watching. This tornado warning. Joe, has there been an update from the National Weather Service in Pleasant Hill?
As a matter of fact, I've just gotten something from Topeka. This is a couple of minutes ago. A confirmed tornado 5 miles east of Ottawa, moving towards the east at around 25 miles an hour. 5 miles east of Ottawa, moving off towards the east at around 25 miles an hour. The current tornado warning is still just for Franklin County. That goes for about another 7 minutes. My bet is, as Jacob has mentioned, that we will be seeing a tornado warning coming out for at least the west and northwestern portion of Miami County here any minute. So don't be surprised by that if you live Paola. There you go. Tornado warning just now issued. This is going to be for the central and northwestern portion of Miami County. This is going to go up until, let me just punch it up real quick. And it also includes parts of far southern Johnson County. This is what we refer to as a base tornado warning. So whether or not they want to go with anything observed at this point, tough to say. They're also really worried about the potential of larger hail. It does not, let me clarify in an update, it does not include Johnson County. It does not include Johnson County. So Johnson County, Kansas. So here's our new tornado warning. It does include Hillsdale Lake though. Just barely Paola, west of 169. Here's Wellsville, so it's in that corridor, if you will, not including Johnson County on the Kansas side. Down towards 68 into Miami County, brand new tornado warning that is now in effect. And this, just from a timing standpoint, this is going to go until 8:30 now for this new tornado warning that has been issued for Franklin County. Franklin County now, new tornado warning in effect for you up until about 8:30. We have had numerous reports of tornadoes in Franklin County, very close to that 68 highway corridor. Just a report a few minutes ago associated with this little area right in there of a tornado 5 miles confirmed, tornado 5 miles east of Ottawa, and that's heading right towards the county line of Franklin and Miami County, right there. And just to give you a little idea of what we're looking at, right in through there, that would be the location of our confirmed tornado. And again, this is pretty much near 68 highway, perhaps just a pinch north of 68 highway, but I'm, again, wanting anybody, if you live within maybe 3 or 4 miles of 68 highway, something like this into Miami County, make sure you are in your safe spot. There is some concern by my colleagues at the National Weather Service, Jacob alluded to this a second ago, that we may see a little bit more of a slight veering towards the north as this cell gets closer to the state line. So again, this general corridor in Miami County with this new tornado warning, and again, this is going to go until 8:30 for the northwestern quadrant, essentially, of Miami County. It barely includes Paola, but again, it does include the northwestern portion of Miami County, and the northeast portion of Franklin County. You are still under that warning for another few more minutes or so. Still getting reports of tornadoes, a tornado on the ground. Jacob?
I have a view of the tornado warning cell. Okay. This is K68 in Franklin County. So this is the tornado warning cell. We can't see the tornado inside of it, but you can see the shelf cloud on the leading edge of it. The wall cloud is right here at the base of this storm. And so that's where we can't see, but the tornado has still been reported on the ground as of about 10 minutes ago. This is from Trent Pittman, Johnson County Emergency Manager. I appreciate him sharing this photo with us. And so this is the storm right now along Kansas Highway 68 in Franklin County, right at the Miami County line. I also have our FOX4 Storm Ranger crew on I-35. They're heading south into the storm, and they're seeing the dark skies. You can see the sunset off here behind me to the right, and there's the lightning and this very electric storm. We've had hundreds of lightning strikes, and they are going to go down I-35 to be the first on the scene of hopefully what is not significant damage down in Ottawa. But we do have multiple thousands of people without power in Franklin County and Ottawa. We have power lines, power flashes, reported damage in the south side of the city of Ottawa. So our storm ranger will be there soon, and we'll be taking those images live as well. So it looks like we also have a new severe thunderstorm warning down in Lynn County, Kansas. I want to zoom down there super quickly for those in Mound City. This is an incoming supercell that has large hail and damaging winds on it. This severe thunderstorm is for Blue Mound, Mound City, Pleasanton, and Lacine until 8:30. And the storm right now is near Blue Mound. I want to make sure there's been, oh, yeah.
All right, so I was just getting ready. Once you were going to be finished, I was going to jump in with this, but now the Weather Service has forced me to jump in with this. This is west. We're going back out towards Fairfax. This is out of our viewing area, but it's about to come into Franklin County. Round number 2. New tornado warning now, I believe, in effect for parts of Franklin County. I think that's associated with that storm. I want to make sure I'm not northeastern. All right,
that's going to be Wellsville.
That's just a severe thunderstorm warning. My apologies.
Yep. It is a new tornado warning.
It is a tornado warning.
Good call, Joe.
It's associated with this. I've been watching this for the last few minutes. It's on the back side of everything. And sure enough, they've issued a brand new tornado warning. Again, this is going to move into Franklin County, sort of close to the previous storm in terms of its location. However, this one may bring Centropolis more into things. So this area right in through here, again, this is over just towards the west into Osage County, but that now is showing signs of rotation and heading towards the Centropolis area. Here's Ottawa. All right, now technically that new tornado warning to your west does not include Ottawa, but let's keep an eye on that as that cell moves off towards the east-northeast at around 30 miles an hour. So the area of concern, this new area, and then I'm going to have Jacob kind of focus in onto Miami County. This new area right there, west central, or actually east central portions of Osage County, getting ready to move into northwestern portions of Franklin County. That's perhaps moving a little bit more off towards the east, and that might be due into the Norwood area by about 8:29. It's not a confirmed tornado, radar indicated, but it does include, again, the west portion, the western half, if you will, of Franklin County west of Ottawa. So that's a new warning, a new tornado warning. In addition to the warning that we've got going on right now in Miami County, that's going to go up until about 8:30 or so. Now let's get back over to Miami County. Let's head over to Jacob. Jacob.
Yeah, okay, so this is in Wellsville. This is the hail core of the Miami County warned tornado warning. Major lightning, major heavy rain. This is the interstate. Really hard to see. There they are. And I cannot see hail falling yet, but it's about to. And you can see some of the cars trying to navigate. This is pouring rain, heavy rainfall, and large hail incoming. Okay, let's get back to Weather 2 radar. This is the tornado warning for northwestern Miami County until 8:30. So this is essentially Paola to Edgerton. And the rotation has started to jog north a little bit, and I think this storm is cycling. And when that happens, it's readjusting how it's getting the inflow and moisture from the rest of the atmosphere. And so it's reorganizing. So actually, I would not be surprised if briefly the tornado that has been on the ground in Franklin County lifts for a minute or two before it touches back down here in northern Miami County. And there's almost, you can kind of see how it's jogging north. That's going to be a readjustment of where the circulation is, which unfortunately is going to put it on a little bit more of a trajectory to head right into Hillsdale Lake. So everyone in Hillsdale Lake, you need to be in your safe place right now. Essentially, if you live anywhere along 169 highway south of Spring Hill, Wagstaff, go ahead and get in your safe space on the north side of Paola. If you live between Edgerton and Hillsdale Lake, safe place right now. The tornado is likely there, going to touch down momentarily on the county line just north of K68. I'm going to turn on a rotation tracker, and we can kind of see it's readjusted. So in the last scan, it was down here at Vermont Road and K68. Now it's on the county line at K33 and K68. And so this is actually heading right towards Hillsdale Lake. So that's what we're going to be watching. And technically, this tornado is now minutes away. I mean, I'll put on the latest ETA here. Hillsdale Lake arrival is going to be at 8:15. So that's now less than 15 minutes away. So you need to seek your safe place right now. I'm still watching, and we've kind of been talking about this, how unfortunately these storms broke through the cap. The cap was barely weaker than we expected. And that's what's kind of caused all of this. And the environment here in these bright reds and even pinks is very conducive for rotation and tornadoes. And so that's what we're seeing here, mainly south of the metro. So I do want to reassure folks watching from the KC Metro, notice the lack of bright colors, okay? Here in Johnson County, Wyandotte, Platte, Clay, Jackson County. It looks like, for right now, the tornado threat is staying just south of the metro. It's not far, but it's just to our south. Franklin, Miami. If this all holds together, Cass County, ingredients are there. Raymore, Belton down to Harrisonville on that leading edge of this storm complex. So that's what we'll be watching maybe in the next hour or so. Right now, we're watching these now 2 tornado-warned storms. And Joe, this is not good because people in Ottawa have lost power. And there's now a new tornado warning in Pomona and Ottawa heading right back into town. And I'm just hoping that people are still able to get their cell phone alerts.
And get their information, absolutely. Right. And this is where even if you don't live in Miami County, and especially if you don't live in Franklin County, you could actually help out. Because while the power might be out, various parts of Franklin County, you could still obviously get them some information through a cell phone and especially through a text. So just send them a text, especially if they live in Ottawa and western portions of Franklin County rather, west of Ottawa, so that they know that we still have another potential tornado trying to form. This is radar indicated. So again, 2 different warnings, and I wanted to show you this view because here's Kansas City. So the worst of this is likely to pass south of Kansas City. The hail aspect of this may affect southern portions of Johnson County and perhaps into Cass County as well. The hail portions of this will certainly affect Miami County, more into Franklin County, more into Douglas County too. But 2 different tornado warnings, one for the northwest portion of down here towards Miami County and one for the northwestern portion of Franklin County, and these will go until roughly 8:30 to 8:45 or so, particularly with that other warning that just came out for the northwestern portion of Franklin County. Here's the one, though, that we're concerned about. This is the one that has been producing tornadoes, have not heard about anything on the ground in the last about 15 minutes or so, but the concern would be right along and just towards the east of the county line area, towards the west of Lewisburg. And again, this is going to be 68 Highway, just towards the north of 68 Highway. And as Jacob mentioned, this is going to bring Hillsdale Lake into things. Let me see if I could do something here real quick and turn off, just briefly, turn off the radar image just for a second. So here's Hillsdale Lake, right in through here, okay? And we've got a lot of folks who have some property down there, a lot of boaters down there. They can obviously see what's going on with this storm coming on in. So hopefully they've gotten into a safe spot, especially now that it's about to get dark. But the rotation is right around there, just towards, maybe just towards the north of 68 Highway. Again, there's Hillsdale Lake, here's Paola. So if things go...
Speaking of Hillsdale Lake, here it is.
Oh, look at this.
So this is the Hillsdale Lake camera that we have here at Fox 4. And we are looking west right into this supercell. So I think the tornado is probably behind the rain shield. We're probably looking into the hail shaft and rain right here. You can see the leading edge of clouds. That is the shelf cloud on the leading edge of this severe thunderstorm warning. And I think if there's going to be a tornado, it's going to be right here on the left side of the screen. It's probably going to be very hard to see because now we're losing daylight. The sun has set, and this is really kind of we're at the marina there at Jayhawk. So that's going to be kind of looking off towards the west. And as we come back over here to radar, it looks like it's coming in from the southwest towards the lake, Joe.
And
so
now
that's what
radar indicated in an update with that tornado warning. So apparently whatever was going on in terms of tornadic activity has sort of lifted, at least for the time being, hopefully for the rest of the night. But we're still getting, obviously, radar indications of a tornado that may be trying to reform, reorganize, or as we say in the world of weather, cycling. And that's going to be a problem, again, for the northern reaches of Miami County. Again, northwestern Miami County under that tornado warning. That's going to continue up until about 8:30 or so. And then northwestern portions of Franklin County also into a tornado warning, and that goes until about 8:30, 8:45. My colleagues down at the National Weather Service concerned about something that I mentioned to you about maybe 20 minutes ago, how as the sun goes down, the winds just above the surface have a tendency to increase in speed. And that's a problem when you have a storm like this that's already rotating, encountering these faster winds just above the surface, and that gives these storms even more of an ability to rotate, to create more low-level rotation, so that, again, the storm may cycle, even though it may not be producing a tornado at this precise moment. It is still producing some very large hail. But again, it may have a tendency now to start to try to crank up that tornadic production once again. So we've got two rather significant hail cores with this, one now moving right on top of Hillsdale Lake. So it'll be curious to see how our camera down there does with this. Anywhere from roughly dime to quarter plus size hailstones likely with that. And then the storm that is now moving back into the northwestern portion of Franklin County, near and north of Pomona. This is heading towards Centropolis. That's got maybe a little bit bigger hail in the neighborhood of quarter to perhaps ping pong ball sized hailstones. So this is going to be some destructive hail moving through the northern half of Franklin County, in addition to the tornado earlier. And we'll see about the damage situation from Ottawa as soon as we get more information. But there's also been quite a bit of hail associated with the storm beforehand and then this storm coming in. So Franklin County, especially the northern part of Franklin County, getting kind of a double dose of this. For you folks in southern portions of Johnson County, you might be getting just a little bit of some smallish hail coming out of the updraft and falling down into the southern portions of Johnson County. We are getting some hail detection near and south of Gardner, perhaps around the Spring Hill area, and just towards the east of Baldwin City around 56 Highway. That seems to be a little corridor of perhaps some smallish hail, non-destructive. If there's going to be anything that warrants a call to the insurance company, it might be this particular part of the cell, north of Rantoul, north and west of Paola, and near Hillsdale Lake. That could be some damaging hail, and also some damaging hail out here towards Centropolis. I'm looking over at the big board where Jacob is, and this is one big old light show. So
yeah, Joe, I mean, the rotation and tornado, likely tornado here in Miami County, is heading right towards Jayhawk Marina. So this is our camera. Ben, our engineer in the back, is doing a great job of kind of tracking this storm as it comes in, and you can now see right here, this is where we're getting the lowering. So this is the wall cloud, and from the dark here, we'll see if a tornado emerges, because I was just looking at the map to confirm we are looking due west into the storm here. And the tornado is wrapping right kind of into Jayhawk Marina and the Hillsdale Lake area. So that's the camera right now. The view, lots of lightning. And we'll see, it's really hard to tell, Joe, because we're at night, and so the lightning is really what illuminates it. Maybe right here there's a little bit of a lowering, and we're going to have to watch this really within the next 5 minutes. I mean, it's coming right in. We're now kind of in the dry slot. The rain's actually stopped here at the lake. Interesting. So if you want to show the radar there coming in, I mean, this is, it's close, and it's almost, I mean, it's hard to tell at the scaling, but right here in the middle of the screen, is that a darker lowering? It's hard to tell without some lightning to backlight it.
Yeah, it kind of is.
But that's the wall cloud right there. And so this is, again, Hillsdale Lake tornado shelter now, because this is the tornado warned storm, and we're looking right into the heart of the rotation, seeing if any of this lightning here, maybe this is the wall cloud, is going to eliminate anything. Not seeing anything on the ground right now, but boy, The rotation is tightening up now as it is moving towards the lake, Joe.
And that's a concern, especially again for that Hillsdale Lake area, northern reaches of Miami County. In terms of the lightning that Jacob has so well illustrated for us on our Hillsdale Lake camera, and you could see it's going to town. This is continuing to increase now, 330 lightning strikes in the last about 15 minutes or so. It's probably more than that. I mean, you could just see on that Hillsdale Lake, and you could see the core of the lightning is literally right on top of Hillsdale Lake right now. We are getting, some other areas of rain near DeSoto, near Olathe, down towards Gardner, down towards Spring Hill, and this is definitely a little bit of an uptick in lightning activity for this area into Johnson County on the Kansas side. And we also have some pretty good indicators of lightning out here towards Centropolis, which is where we continue to have our tornado warning. That's in effect until about 8:30, 8:45 or so. Radar indicated. Both tornado warnings right now are radar indicated, indicating to us that at least we haven't had any confirmed reports of tornadoes, and I would probably say about the last 20, 25 minutes. The last report of a tornado we had was about 5 miles east of Ottawa, and that's been a little while ago. So looking at it from a radar standpoint, if you remember, if you've been watching our coverage, we were showing you a very pronounced, strong indication on radar of a very healthy looking hook echo. Well, now as we take a look at radar, it doesn't quite have that same look. It doesn't look nearly as distinct as it did maybe about 15, 20, 30 minutes ago. Here's Hillsdale Lake, so they're about to get into it.
Joe, there's also a confirmed tornado down in Lynn County right now. I don't have the radar up of it, but yeah, they're about to issue a tour on that near Mound City.
All right, let me go down right to that. Oh, sure enough, look at this. All right, so here's our new tornado warning coming out as we speak. This is going to be for a likely tornado, a confirmed tornado Jacob just mentioned, that is probably going to pass just towards the south of Mound City. I put a storm tracker on here. No particular communities are showing up, but to give you a little perspective of exactly what we're looking at here, that would be for this particular cell just towards the south, very close of Mound City. Mound City, you are in that tornado warning. This goes until 8:45. This would be 52 Highway right up here. This is 52 Highway right there. And this would be for something that is moving pretty much east at around 25 miles an hour or so. So I'm going to broaden this out even a little bit more. And over the next about half hour or so, the one community that possibly is impacted by this is Mound City. It's a very close call for you in Mound City. To be on the safe side, I want you to go ahead, take cover, get yourself into a safe spot as that cell, that hook, or an attempt at a hook, develops off to our west or off to your west of Mound City. Radar indicated Hume, Mound City, Pleasanton, all included in this particular tornado warning. Again, this is for Lynn County, brand new tornado warning now for Lynn County. This goes until 8:45. 8:45 for Lynn County. Southern Lynn County, western portions of Bates County are also just the extreme western portion of Bates County included in this tornado warning as well. So I'm going to scooch this over just to kind of broaden the view a little bit to give you an idea just how much of a skosh of Bates County is included in that tornado warning. Now, if you're hearing tornado sirens over towards the Butler area, Amoret, technically you're not included, Lone Oak, over further up towards the north, towards the Passaic and Adrian area. If you are hearing tornado sirens, that tornado warning does not, repeat, does not include you. It does include Lynn County in particular, east of Blue Mound. So let's go ahead and kind of zoom in right into this area, right in through here. And we're looking at an area of rotation, radar indicated, south of 900 or West 900 Road, near K32, approaching the K7 corridor, near and just towards the south of Mound City. So for you folks in Lynn County, again, remember, brand new tornado warning issued for you. This is going to go until about 8:45. This storm is moving towards the east at around 30 miles an hour, east at around 30, heading towards the Mound City vicinity. And if it maintains its strength and its rotation, now confirmed, all right, now we've got an observed tornado reporting from Lynn County. So that's why our color is switched to purple. That is now a confirmed tornado down towards near the Mound City area. Mound City, get yourself into a safe spot. This is heading towards you in the next few minutes. Worland by about 8:44. Worland by about 8:44. And again, a confirmed tornado reported near Blue Mound. It was reported to be what we consider roping out, which is indicative of a weakening phase, perhaps, of that particular tornado. But as it passed through the Blue Mound, Kansas area, it did in fact produce at least a very brief tornado, we believe, but it's still potentially on the ground. So again, for you folks in Lynn County on the Kansas side, go ahead and take cover, especially if you live near Mound City. The report of the tornado, of the roping out tornado, came from Blue Mound. So here's our storm, and I'm going to actually put a new track on this. If it was reported near Blue Mound earlier, it's probably moving a little bit more towards the east. All right, here's a new tornado warning. Northeastern Miami County, southeastern Johnson County. Southeastern Johnson County on the Kansas side till 8:45. A new tornado warning now coming out. This is a radar indicated area of rotation near Spring Hill. Okay, you got it. Let's get over to Jacob. He's got the update for you. Jacob.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I had to kind of reboot there. Spring Hill to Stillwell is the new tornado warning, and it's really going to be, I think, just south of the county line. The problem is that this supercell, as I mentioned, is recycling. And in that process, it has added a slight northerly component to it. So it is over Hillsdale Lake right now. And the likely tornado is about to cross 169 highway just south of Spring Hill. So this is going to be kind of ominously close to the Johnson County line. Again, on essentially the county line. So Wagstaff is included in this. The north side of Lewisburg, Kansas, now included in this. And this takes it to the state line. So Hillsdale Lake to the state line, northern Miami County, right along the Johnson County border. You need to be in your tornado safe place right now. So I'm going to quickly zoom out and show you, because we have 3 active tornado warnings right now. So it's getting a little busy on radar, and I wanted to kind of recap what's happening. In the Kansas City metro, we're under a tornado watch, and the only area under a tornado warning is Spring Hill and right on the Miami-Johnson County line. We still have a tornado warning out in Franklin County, a second supercell north of Pomona that is approaching Ottawa. We're going to see if National Weather Service Topeka extends that. Again, our FOX4 Storm Ranger crew should be en route on I-35 down to Ottawa to get that tornado damage here shortly on the air. Northern Miami County continues under this tornado warning, and we still have a confirmed tornado right now down into Mound City. Joe, are you watching that confirmed tornado? I do want to get back to it since we know it's on the ground. Yeah,
so I've got right now radar clued in on the northwestern Franklin County storm.
Okay.
This is radar indicated. Centropolis, you're in that tornado warning. If there's anything going on, it's right in there, probably passing towards the south of Centropolis. But again, that is radar indicated for northwestern portions of Franklin County.
Oh, this is Paola looking right into the supercell. This is near Hillsdale Lake. So what you're looking at right now on the left side of your screen is the likely tornado, and that line of clouds,
feeder area?
That is the feeder. That's the moisture inflow jet. And that is all the moisture getting sucked into the supercell. And as this camera is turning, we're now looking at the heart of the supercell where there is lightning. I don't know, possibly a power flash right there.
Oh, maybe
That's
so.
a power flash.
Yep, power flashes.
Okay, so that means it's a confirmed tornado now in northern Miami County. This is along approaching 169 highway between Paola and Spring Hill. Again, seek shelter. There's so many people driving right here. If you know someone driving between Spring Hill and Paola, Kansas, call them. We've just seen here within the last seconds, we're seeing power flashes in this tornado warned supercell. that is in northern Miami County. So we now have 2 confirmed tornado warnings, 1 down near Mound City. We're trying to see KDOT doing a fantastic job this evening of watching where this tornado is about to cross 169 highway. So if we can put this in a box and kind of come back here to me at the big board so I can show where this storm is, because I don't want to miss anything that happens on that camera if we see any views or any more power flashes. This is now a confirmed tornado warning in northern Miami County and on the Johnson County border. Hillsdale Lake, the tornado has just crossed through, and the tornado is at 255th Street and 169. So Spring Hill south on 169, there should be no travel because the tornado is wrapping up in itself right now, and the tornado is essentially right here near Wagstaff. So I'm going to put the rotation tracker. It is just now crossing Old KC Road. The tornado is on 169 highway at 255th Street. And you can almost see in that box camera on there on the right side of your screen, the police lights off in the distance. Those are stopping traffic, hopefully, from driving into this tornado. So this is a tornado on the ground, 255th Street, Old KC Road, about to cross 169 highway. And I'll zoom out slightly to show you where this is in respect to Spring Hill and Paola on the south side of this storm. And we'll turn on the velocity mode and we can see the tight rotation. There it is, right between Hillsdale Lake and Wagstaff. So it's at Old KC Road and Lake Road and 255th Street. This is a confirmed tornado now on the ground, about to cross 169 highway. And we're going to see, I don't know, Joe, is there any debris on this storm?
That's what I was just looking at.
It looks like the rotation is pretty tight. We've been seeing the power flashes. There it is.
There's a lot of noise, but I'm not seeing any direct debris from that, but that's a heck of a radar presentation.
Yeah,
right there.
so tornado on the ground here, crossing 169 highway. Let's take that camera full again. We're looking into the storm. We are looking from Paola north, and now the sky has essentially gone dark. We're seeing if the lightning is going to eliminate any lowering, and now they've kind of turned it back towards the west, which is an incredible view looking back at the storm back in Franklin County.
And that one is still tornado warned. Still radar indicated and still cranking out, obviously, quite a bit of lightning and likely some pretty decent amounts of hail as well.
That's a textbook supercell right there, Joe.
Absolutely so. You could see the whole anvil and the whole 9 yards with all the lightning associated with it. Back to me with our tornado warning that continues for the northwestern portion of Miami County. It includes a sliver of southern Johnson County. So here's 199th Street. And for those of you in the Johnson County area and in Spring Hill, this is going to pass just towards the south of Spring Hill by roughly 3-ish miles, give or take. So roughly 3-ish miles south of Spring Hill. But this little sliver of the extreme southeast corner of Johnson County on the Kansas side from roughly 199th Street southward. This is 199th right here, southward. We do have concerns about this little, as we say, deviant north motion with this, that it could kind of sneak into not only northeastern Miami County, but also the extreme southeastern portion of Johnson County on the Kansas side. So for bearings, for those of you who are familiar with this area, down to our south. So here's 69 highway. Here's 169. The tornado itself would be right around 169 and just northwest of Wagstaff, just towards the south of 223rd Street, give or take about, a few hundred feet probably. This right here is 247th Street. This right here is 223rd Street. And then you get closer to the county line. This is Metcalf Avenue that goes south, and here's 69 highway. So the concern would be, again, right in here, near and just towards the north and west of Wagstaff. Here's Hillsdale Lake, where we've had quite the light show going on and perhaps even a potential tornado touchdown there. But we do have a confirmed tornado. We showed you the power flashes about 5 minutes ago associated with this cell in the northwestern portion, or north central portion now, of Miami County. This is all going to pass south of the heart of Kansas City, and it's going to pass south of the heart of 435, although heavy rains are falling right now. 435 down towards Overland Park, down towards the Stillwell area, down towards Stanley, down towards Olathe and Gardner, Spring Hill, over towards, and getting very close now, to the county line of Cass and Jackson County, that little tri-county line right there, getting heavy rains there. But hail and tornadic weather is very possible, if not occurring right now, just towards the north and west of Lewisburg, just towards the north and west of Lewisburg. And as we put this into motion, it looks like, and this is going to be a very close call, and there's got to be a debris signature on this, very close call for Lewisburg. It looks like it's going to pass just barely, about 5 to 8 miles or so, just towards the northwest of Lewisburg. However, you may get what we refer to as some rear flank downdrafts. So this area right in through here may be producing 50 to 70 mile an hour winds. And this could be rushing out towards the Lewisburg area. So you have not only the tornadic circulation there, but strong winds coming around the storm and wrapping towards the south and east. So that's why Lewisburg may still be affected, perhaps not by tornadic winds, but by strong straight line winds as the circulation of this tornado continues to wrap in some of these stronger winds just above the surface. Jacob.
Okay, Joe, so what unfortunately we're seeing tonight is kind of a supercell outbreak that has almost kind of happened unexpectedly and burst through a cap in the atmosphere this evening. And so we have 3 supercells, all 3 of which continue to be capable of producing a tornado. We have a tornado warning from Mound City to the Missouri state line on the Linn County, Kansas storm. We have a confirmed tornado warning between Spring Hill and Stillwell, north of Paola in northern Miami County. And we still have a tornado warning back in Ottawa, Kansas, the second tornado warned storm to move through Franklin County. All 3 of these continue to track east-northeast. So next in line is Bates and Cass County. So essentially from Rich Hill and Butler up to Harrisonville, even Belton, Raymore, Pleasant Hill. Now's the time to start thinking, when a warning is issued here in the next 15 minutes, where are we going to go? And are your friends and family out and about? So you need to be thinking that way, because this tornado warned, which is now still on the ground in northern Miami, could easily be crossing the state line. And I actually want to zoom in on that because this is the confirmed tornado that we have now. And we have multiple FOX4 crews out tonight tracking down all of these storms and damage, one of which is heading right here to Spring Hill, Wagstaff, Hillsdale Lake to find the damage from those power flashes. So this tornado continues to move off towards the east at about 30 miles per hour rather. And so I want to put an ETA on this crossing the state line. This will be to Cleveland, Missouri, which is on the state line around 8:45. So again, we're 15 minutes away from this confirmed tornado warning in Miami County to reach the Missouri-Kansas state line. Peculiar, Missouri, the ETA is 9 o'clock, so 30 minutes from this confirmed tornado. We don't have a tornado warning yet for Cass County, but it could be coming at any moment, so be thinking that. Harrisonville, if it holds together, would probably pass north of Harrisonville and would be around 9:15. So we're talking the next 30 minutes or so, this becoming a issue and a concern for our Cass County residents and viewers as well. So just a heads up on that. Go ahead and be planning ahead and be ready to seek shelter as soon as that warning is issued. This is just an incredibly bad storm velocity view here. I mean, we're seeing the rotation. There's Wagstaff, there's Spring Hill. The good news is this is not right in Spring Hill, but it looks like the tornado remains strong. And I think it's actually heading right towards Cleveland, Missouri. So this is the tornado. We're seeing the strong winds here. That's right on Childs Road, 247th Street. And it's going to be along 69 Highway, so south of Stillwell here in Miami County, within the next 5 minutes. So if you live near Metcalf Road in Miami County, Metcalf in Miami and 247th Street, seek shelter. This is the tornado. I want to query these winds just to get a rough estimate for what we're talking about here. 60 miles per hour towards the radar, 40 miles per hour away. That's a 100 mile per hour rotation that we're getting right now along 247th Street in northern Miami County. This is the Johnson County border. This is the tornado that is likely still on the ground. Do we still have a view of that Paola camera, or has that gone down? Because I'm wondering if we can still see the storm. There's the rotation. It's right now over the community of Wagstaff, and this you're seeing here in the box, this is the view from Paola, and it is now kind of coming down. Or is this up? This might be in Wellsville, actually. But oh no, this is the Paola camera. We're looking into what is the tornado-producing storm and what is causing damage, likely. And you can see the traffic is stopped, I assume, as we take this full screen. Police kind of right at the top of the hill, it's hard to see, have stopped traffic so that people don't drive into the tornado. So they're out here. You can see the strong winds on the south side of this storm, as this is now again tracking from Hillsdale Lake and Wagstaff along 247th Street, now towards Cleveland, Missouri, and still seeing if there's any sign of debris on radar. It looks like there might be. It's hard to determine, but Joe, that kind of looks like it as Childs Road turns into 247th Road. That's a little bit of a lowering right there. So we'll keep that right there, and then we switch over to our storm relative velocity, and we'll see if it matches up. It's pretty close. So right here, Childs Road, 247th Road, that's where the confirmed tornado warning continues. And so, Joe, this is still the one of three. Do we still have three tornado warnings?
Still have three tornado warnings,
okay.
Although that one warning in northwestern Franklin County will be expiring shortly. I think the vast majority of you know where the Lewisburg cider mill is. Very popular during the spring, summer, fall season with the pumpkins and everything else like that. It appears one of the storm chasers from Wichita at about 8:30, about 3 minutes ago, reporting power flashes just towards the north of the cedar mill down towards the Lewisburg area. Now, the city of Lewisburg, this is going to be further up towards your north, but up there towards Somerset Winery and the Lewisburg, the cider mill area, reports of power flashes just towards the north of the cider mill, and that's a pretty strong indication of likely a tornado on the ground. However, I will also tell you that down towards 169 and 223rd Street into Miami County, 80-mile-an-hour winds have been observed. 80-mile-an-hour winds observed down there towards 169 and 223rd Street, down towards Miami County. So regardless, tornado, no tornado, but it's probably a tornado. Yeah.
Report there by the cider mill, but on the ground.
It's cranking out the winds, and it's a destructive storm, that is for sure. All right, so for you folks in Franklin County, that tornado warning now has expired for you. Severe thunderstorm warning now in effect for the community of Ottawa. Hate to see that after a tornado passed through Ottawa. We're still waiting to hear if there's been any damage within the community of Ottawa. So just, again, severe thunderstorm warning with the thunderstorm right on top of you, the ability of maybe 50 to 60 plus mile-an-hour winds and also some hail connected to that particular warning. The main thing that we're worried about, though, right now is what's going on in the northern reaches of Miami County and the far southeast part of Johnson County. There's Stillwell. Again, this will probably pass just south of Stillwell, but it's going to be very, very close. And as Jacob was kind of giving you a little bit of a heads up about, let's bring in the communities of Raymore and Belton and Cleveland into this discussion. So that would be where we could have something on the ground, and it would be doing something along this line. So let's bring in Peculiar as well into this discussion. No tornado warning in effect for you, but if this thing is still on the ground, I think one is coming, and one's probably coming here very, very shortly for the folks down towards Cass County and maybe even the far southern portions or far southeast portions of Jackson County over on the Missouri side. So again, the main thing that we're worried about right now is this tornado warning that continues for Miami County until 8:45, so that goes for about another 9 minutes or so, with a confirmed tornado just towards the north of Lewisburg, just towards the north of the cider mill. Here's Jacob.
Okay, Joe, we just got a new tornado warning now in Bates County, and this is a confirmed tornado. This is the tornado that is moving out of Linn County. So again, we're tracking 2 confirmed tornado warnings right now. I'll zoom out so you can get your reference point. Okay, here's the Kansas City Metro. A severe warning essentially for the southern half of Johnson County for 80-mile-per-hour winds and large hail. This is the confirmed tornado warning that is nearing the Miami and Cass County line, the state line. And we have another confirmed tornado warning on the Linn and Bates County line. So 2 supercells, both are producing tornadoes. So if you live in northeastern Miami County, eastern Linn County, or western central Bates County, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. So this is new for the east side of Butler, Elkhart, Amoret here, Pleasanton, Kansas, in towards Amoret. This is right here tracking across the state line within the next matter of moments. So I want to look at the velocity mode to see exactly where the rotation is. Yeah, there it is. And so this is going to be right along 1000 Road at Worland, and it's just south of K52. So this is a confirmed tornado warning. This is Linn County, Kansas. This is Bates County, Missouri, at Amoret and between Pleasanton and Amoret near Worland. So Worland, if you live between Worland, 1000 Road, and K52, you need to be in your tornado safe place right now. I'm going to turn on our rotation tracker and put an ETA on this as it tracks out towards the east. I want to get the exact time on this storm correct as this is moving off towards the east at, let me see, this goes until 9 o'clock and it's moving northeast now at 40 miles per hour. So this storm a little faster now than the northern supercell. And so there's the tornado. It's tracking up towards the north. Here's the ETAs, Worland now, Virginia, Missouri, between the state line and Butler on K52, 8:50. So you have 10 minutes if you live near the Virginia community. And it will be at Butler and Interstate 49 at 9 o'clock. So in 20 minutes, this is a confirmed tornado warning for Bates County. We still have the confirmed tornado warning up in Miami County. Joe, Lauria, keeping an eye on that. Joe, I'm assuming that this is now being extended across the state line because I'm getting new tornado warnings that are coming out.
What has
so it looks like Cass County, Peculiar, Freeman, Cleveland, now in a new tornado warning. This technically is just south of Belton and Raymore. Here's the new polygon. West Line, Cleveland, Freeman, Lake Annette, Peculiar, Missouri, and Interstate 49 between Belton and Harrisonville in a new tornado warning. This tornado has produced power flashes and damage. This is the same storm that touched down and caused tornado damage in Ottawa. It touched down near Hillsdale Lake and just south of Spring Hill, and now it's about to cross the state line into Missouri, Joe. So this is a long-lived supercell. It's now been on the ground for almost 2 hours in our viewing area, 3 hours back into Kansas.
Almost 3 hours because we started talking about this, keeping an eye on it at 5 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, I tried to give you a heads up that I was seeing some indications on the Kansas side particularly of an atmosphere conducive, if the storm were to survive, for its ability to create tornadoes, and that's unfortunately what we have seen in the last few minutes. Jacob just mentioned this brand new tornado warning that has just been issued. Right now, the likely circulation is just a few miles towards the west of Cleveland, Missouri. And as we go further down towards Peculiar, it's about 10 to 12 miles towards the west-southwest of Peculiar. If you live in Peculiar, I want you in your safe spot. Likewise, Lake Annette. It looks like West Line, the worst of the tornadic circulation, will pass north of you. Same thing with Lewisburg. However, stronger straight line winds could wrap around and still affect you. And some of those winds could be in the neighborhood of 60 to 70 miles an hour. So even though the tornadic circulation may pass north of you, some of these stronger outflow straight line winds may affect you as well, as all of this wind energy wraps around the storm and kicks out. So that's why West Line, perhaps Lewisburg, Freeman, Lake Annette, be on the lookout for very strong, potentially damaging winds. The tornadic circulation is still in Miami County, getting very, very close to the county line of Bates, or actually check that, Cass and Linn County, Cass and Miami County rather, on the Kansas side. And then this other cell, this is confirmed as well, a report of a confirmed tornado down here towards Linn County on the Kansas side. This would be east of Pleasanton. We did get a report of a tornado near Pleasanton, and this is heading right towards Worland. So if you live in the Worland area, I want you to go ahead and make sure you are taking cover right now. I mean, no kidding. Get yourself in a safe spot right this second. Get downstairs if you can. Worland is ground zero for this potential and likely tornado on the ground as we speak. It looks like it will pass, though, south of Amoret, south of Trading Post, and south of Virginia, even though you folks are still in this tornado warning. The storm itself is moving off basically towards the east-northeast. Yeah, towards the east-northeast, roughly 25 miles an hour or so. So I'm going to.
It is up to 40 now.
Is it up to 40? Okay.
Yeah, that Linn County storm.
All right, so let's go ahead and let me increase our speed on our radar program to 40 miles an hour, and we'll go ahead and put a new storm track on this for you. Again, this is down towards Linn County, moving into Bates County, and that is heading right towards Butler. I hate to say that. Butler, you folks are in the path of this cell. Again, a little movement towards the north on this, maybe not due east. So Worland, 842, it's 842. Get yourself into a safe spot. The Butler area, this storm is still, the circulation of which, still about 20 minutes or so towards your west, if you will, maybe a little bit less than that. So I want you to be in your safe spot or getting ready to get into your safe spot as well. Sirens probably going off across a good chunk now of Bates County. The warning does not include Adrian or Passaic. It looks like Adrian, if that warning gets extended, odds are that circulation will pass south of you, but there's hail. This is hail that's coming down between Elkhart, Mulberry, Amoret, and Trading Post, and maybe some pretty good-sized hail at that, Virginia as well. Here's 52 Highway, so this will be very close to that 52 Highway corridor, and it looks like it's taking aim right now into the city of Butler. And that's, again, another very healthy-looking rotation on radar. An update down towards Miami County, 199th and Metcalf, reporting 60-mile-an-hour winds. They're also extending our tornado watch now to add in a couple of more counties. Let me just throw that up.
I have that, Joe, actually.
No, I just popped it up. So I'll jump that, and then you can get ready for the Miami-Cass County situation. Jacob would be telling you about this. Here are the new counties that have just come out. This would be for Johnson County over on the Missouri side, Henry County as well. You've been added into this tornado watch till 11 o'clock, and you could see why these two storms right in through there. Brand new severe thunderstorm warning now coming out for south central and southwestern Jackson County on the Missouri side, and the rest of the northwestern box, if you will, the northwestern quadrant of Cass County, severe thunderstorm warning in effect for you. Our confirmed tornado is still down here, and a confirmed tornado is right up here. And more on that confirmed tornado, the one closest to the 435 corridor on the south side of the metro. Here's Jacob.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. So actually our FOX4 storm ranger on that storm now south of Lewisburg, Kansas, right on the state line. And this is kind of what it looks like here. So they're parked, I don't know the exact street crossings, but they're kind of looking down into the tornado warned storm in Miami and Cass County.
Okay, so we'll take it back to this side of the studio just for an update. Let me quickly, because I know we've got numerous warnings that are in effect, I want to show you some of these tornado warnings that are in effect. And again, this is the extreme sliver of southeastern Johnson County on the Kansas side. That goes until roughly 8:48. Miami County still included in that. New tornado warning for the east portion of Miami County and Cass County. That's the one that includes the peculiar area. That goes until about 9:15. For the one down towards Linn and Bates County, that tornado warning actually got a couple until about 9 o'clock or so for Linn County, Kansas, and Bates County, Kansas. And that's the one that we have had an observed tornado reported down towards Pleasanton. Jacob.
Okay, yeah, so I do have, so the storm ranger right now is in Spring Hill, and we're looking south as the tornado warned storm has now passed through. A lot of lightning still in this storm. And again, this was a confirmed tornado just south of Spring Hill within the last 15 minutes. Now it's moving towards the state line, and that is the new tornado warning that we have essentially now for the far southern reaches of the metro. So if there's a tornado It's right on the state line right now. We were kind of looking at the storm back from Spring Hill, so behind it. So what our Storm Ranger crew now is going to do is look for damage along 169 where we saw those power flashes. We also have another crew still heading down to Ottawa. And control room, as soon as we have our first pictures from Ottawa, please let me know. I do want to see those and take those live on the air. As we look at the velocity mode, we'll look and see where the exact rotation is on this tornado warning that is now entering Cass County. And it looks like right now what it's doing is it's recycling again. Remember, it did this when it moved from Franklin County into Miami County. It strengthened, it produced a tornado touchdown. It may have lifted here briefly, and it is probably going to recycle and produce another tornado in Peculiar here within the next couple of minutes. So the rotation is broad right now, right on the state line. And even though that means the tornado is probably not on the ground at this very second, it will be back on the ground momentarily based on the history of this storm. And this is moving towards Interstate 49 shortly at about 30 miles per hour. So what I'm going to do here is do a sweeping ETA through Cass County. So Cleveland now, Lake Annette in the next 5 minutes, Peculiar 9 o'clock, Harrisonville 9:10. So I also want to start seeing if we have any of the MoDOT cameras maybe in Harrisonville looking northwest at this storm. So a Harrisonville I-49 camera would be fantastic to show here shortly. So this is the tornado warning on the south side of the metro. We still have a tornado warning now in Bates County, and I'm just getting a report from the Rich Hill emergency manager saying that there is a large funnel cloud over Worland right now. And so that is the tornado that was on the ground near Pleasanton, Kansas. There is now a funnel cloud over Worland. Okay, we're down into Bates County now. And this is heading right towards Butler and could produce another tornado at any moment if it's not already. That is a classic hook signature, and the rotation tracker has increased rotation between Worland and Virginia. So this is going to be right here just to the south of now Missouri 52 Highway, down towards the Worland area. So I'm going to zoom in. The tornado here in Bates County as it's State Highway V. So this is V Highway, U Highway, and 52 Highway between Worland, between Virginia, and this tornado is tracking towards Butler, Missouri. So Butler, I know you may not technically be in a tornado warning, but the ETA now is 15 minutes, 9:05 for this tornado to reach Interstate 49 and Butler. So Butler, time to seek tornado shelter as this tornado is now just within a matter of minutes away. And again, this radar is a couple minutes behind what we're actually seeing in real life. So here are the two storms. This is the Harrisonville on I-49 camera. And we're looking towards the storm. You're seeing obviously a lot of that lightning. And we're looking along the base of those clouds for any lowering, which we are not going to see quite yet because the storm compared to Harrisonville is still about, we'll say, 5 miles, 6 miles due west of Harrisonville. But it's going to be there shortly. Right now, the rotation is over Lake Annette, and that is in Cass County. So we continue to have the tornado warned storm for Cass County in effect. So let's come back here to the radar and see this storm so those in Cass County can kind of see where it is. Okay, so we've been talking about Lake Annette. Here it is. It's on Missouri 2 Highway, West Line, Lake Annette, Freeman, moving towards Harrisonville. If the tornado touches back down, which it certainly likely will based on the previous history of the storm, it's going to cross Interstate 49 between Peculiar and Harrisonville. So Peculiar, tornado safe place, Harrisonville, tornado safe place, Central Cass County, your safe place. So I know in Belton and Raymore, it is pouring rain right now. It is lightning like crazy in Belton and Raymore and about to in Pleasant Hill. But Belton and Raymore, you are not in the tornado warning. So that is good news. This is just to your south. Peculiar to Harrisonville is in the tornado warning, and that's who needs to be seeking shelter right now. Joe, do you have an update?
Yeah, I do have an update. I wanted to show you some of this video, and I'll apologize for stepping out of the screen here real quickly. I want to put this into motion. Okay. This is the view from Lawrence, Kansas, earlier from one of our kind folks who like to send me pictures. At Kansas Hoops on Twitter is his handle. At FOX4WX on Twitter is my handle. And you could just kind of get an idea of the extent of the lightning that's been coming out of this particular cell down towards the Lawrence area. It's been very impressive. He's been swinging the camera around, and you could just see the smoldering skies, if you will. The mammatus clouds have also been very prevalent, gotten a lot of pictures regarding the mammatus clouds from this. So I just wanted to kind of give you an idea from one of our viewers what he was seeing just a little while ago. Now let's get back to business with our storms that continue to percolate towards the south, the worst of which towards the south of I-70 and down towards the south of 435. We continue to watch these two cells right in through here. Again, these are some pretty nasty ones. They're moving off towards the east at around 35, give or take maybe close to 40 miles an hour or so. I am seeing something that might make me be feeling just a little bit better. And it looks like these start, you see this little line of green right in through here? This is outflow. This is rain-cooled air being pushed out of the thunderstorms. So the storm that has been severe warned in Franklin County, all right, will not be able to produce a tornado in northern portions of Miami County because it's encountering some of this rain-cooled air. It's behind the boundary. This is something that happens often with all of these mature thunderstorms that continue to rip into Kansas City. So this outflow boundary, in a sense, is a tornado protector. However, flip side of that coin is that sometimes behind these boundaries, you could get some larger hail. And that's what we're concerned about for the Hillsdale Lake area. So Hillsdale Lake had a tornado, and now they may be getting more sizable hail that's right now located near and just towards the south of Wellsville. That storm, by the way, is spinning, but because I think it's behind this boundary, the risk of a tornado seems to be a lot lower as opposed to this little area here. And maybe, Jacob, what do you think in the last 5-10 minutes, perhaps a little bit of a downward, maybe a recycling effort, but perhaps a little bit of a downward push in terms of the intensity? Perhaps we could get some outflow to get pushed off towards the east of this, and maybe it'll start ingesting some rain-cooled air. That would be the most favorable outcome. That would reduce the tornadic situation a little bit. But at least from what I've just seen in the last couple of minutes, maybe just a little bit of a weakening trend regarding this particular tornado warning. Joe. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said about this storm that is down to our south. This is down towards Butler and Bates County. Brand new tornado warning has just come out. This would include Butler. This does not include Adrian, does not include Elkhart. Technically includes Passaic, but it's probably going to pass just barely south of Passaic. But there's still a very prevalent hook echo right there. And I want to take off the lightning because that lightning could be a little distracting. There is still a, no doubt about it, hook echo going on with this thing. And this is a radar indicated tornado. Earlier, we did have a report of a tornado near Blue Mound. But that has since, we believe, lifted. So this is a radar indicated circulation, does not mean anything is on the ground right now. However, as we have seen off and on this evening, especially with this particular storm now that's away from that outflow boundary that I showed you earlier, further up towards the north, this may also be about ready to try to crank out another tornado. Passing south of Virginia, south of Amaret, here's Butler. This is going to be uncomfortably close to the Butler area. So I want you folks in Butler to go ahead and take cover from this storm to be on the safe side. You've had one tornado warning just barely to your west. Now you've got a tornado warning that does include the Butler area. For you folks up towards Passaic, this is going to be more of a hail threat for you. And for you folks down towards Lone Oak, again, it's an uncomfortable position to be in. I'm hoping it tracks between Butler and Lone Oak, but for you folks in Butler, I am not comfortable 100% on that. So again, I want you to be on the safe side and get yourself into a safe spot, especially if you live around that 52 highway corridor and points towards the south. Regardless, there's probably some very strong gusty winds from this and also the likelihood of some rather large hail coming from this as well. And that's going to be another little bit of an issue with these storms, is the hail production that we've seen off and on over the last several hours, some rather large hail. So again, tornado watch continues in effect for Wyandotte County. Jackson County, Wyandotte County, I think you're good. You don't have to worry about any tornadic weather. The thunderstorm warnings are still out there for northern half, if you will, of Miami County, southwestern portions of Jackson County on the Missouri side, the northwestern quadrant, if you will, of Cass County. And then once we get down here towards Bates County, that's where we've got this brand new tornado warning that's in effect, and that's going to go. Let me just give you an update on the time. Tornado potential and also quarter-size hail, and that tornado warning is going to go up until about 9:45. Jacob is keeping an eye on what's going on a little further north, back up into Cass County. Jacob.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. So the good news is, as you've been mentioning, it looks like this storm is kind of trending into more of a damaging wind threat now for Cass County. So the rotation has really weakened in the last 5 minutes. There's still a tornado warning in effect for Peculiar, and Peculiar and Harrisonville should remain in their safe place for the next couple of moments. But right now, still seeing a lot of lightning with this, but damaging winds. The primary threat is this is now crossing Interstate 49. So there is a large, severe thunderstorm warning in effect from Lee's Summit all the way down 291 Highway to Harrisonville, as this line of damaging winds is going to push across northern Cass County and southern Jackson County over the next 15 minutes. And good news, the tornado warning has now been dropped and canceled in Cass County. So we are now tornado warning free in Cass County, and the only tornado warning in effect is down in Bates County right now, and I'll show you why. I've been watching this tornado environment product that we have here, exclusive at Fox 4, and it's really down into Bates County where the tornado ingredients are still there. It looks like the storm outflow from the secondary trailing supercell back near Ottawa and Paola, had that outflow boundary kind of got caught up in the supercell that was producing the Miami County tornado crossing into Cass County, and has really weakened it. There's almost no tornado ingredients now in Cass County, which is really good news. Unfortunately, what does still remain is plentiful ingredients for more tornadoes stretching into Henry and Johnson County, Missouri. So from Clinton to Chilhowie, Warrensburg, an early heads up. We're going to be watching you guys if these cells remain together over the next hour or so. So we're going to monitor that closely. Right now, the lone tornado warning is down in Butler, and it's still moving right into the city. It's going to be very close here, moving off towards the east at about 40 miles per hour. An updated ETA on this track as it's moving out towards the east, reaching Butler here in 10 minutes or less and crossing Interstate 49. So the city of Butler, Passaic, tornado safe place now. There is no more time left. You need to be an interior room, lowest level of your home, away from windows and doors, as many walls between you and outside as possible. And as I turn on the velocity mode for this storm down here in Butler, we can see the rotation, and I'm going to zoom in and kind of ID some street names. This is down just to the south of 52 Highway near Virginia. We did have a funnel cloud report from this storm back towards State Highway V, and this is going to be here again moments away from reaching Butler. I'll query the winds on this. They don't look quite as significant. It looks like in the 70-mile-per-hour range of rotation here between Virginia and Butler and Bates County. But again, Interstate 49 here in Bates County, a possible tornado crossing it very soon. Joe?
All right, so Fox 4 News at 9 is going to start right now.
From the station that's working for you, this is Fox 4 News at 9 p.m.
All right, back live with you. We've been providing continuous coverage for the last couple of hours with tornado warnings affecting areas just towards the south of Kansas City. We continue to have a tornado warning in effect for Bates County. This is going to go up until about 9:45. We have seen some better radar evolution, if you will, for the Cass County storm as well as for Miami County. It appears now we're just looking at a wind threat for Cass County. The tornadic threat seems to have faded for the time being, and we'll continue to hope that that continues into Johnson County on the Missouri side over the next about half hour, 45 minutes or so. For the southwestern quadrant of Jackson County on the Missouri side, you folks are under a severe thunderstorm warning as well. And for the northern half of Miami County, you too are under a severe thunderstorm warning. But the main concern continues to be with this particular Bates County storm that is moving towards the east and heading towards the Butler area, and we are getting indications that the storm might be in the process of once again cycling, which means it may be trying to create a tornado once again. We've got radar indicated rotation, Nothing reported on the ground as of this moment, but this storm does have a history over towards the Pleasanton area of producing a tornado and might be just going through a cycling phase. For those of you in the Butler area, you need to be in your safe spot. For those of you up towards Passaic, you're going to be getting the hail. The circulation itself, the tornadic circulation, will be passing probably towards the south of Passaic. If you live in Amoret, you're fine from this particular cell. And Lone Oak, you're uncomfortably close to where that hook echo is, so I want you to be in your safe spot as well. As we look a little further down towards the line, again, remember, we've extended that tornado watch into Henry County on the Missouri side up until about 11 o'clock or so for tonight. Johnson County on the Missouri side as well, up until about 11 o'clock, tornado watches off towards the east of this particular cell. This is I-49, here's the Butler area, and this is right along 52 Highway. And if anything, it seems like these storms, as a big coincidence, have been paralleling or going right on top of some of the more major east-west roads in some of these counties, particularly in Franklin County and eastward into Miami County, and now along 52 and just towards the south of 52 Highway. This storm will probably continue to intensify. It's moving into air that has not been affected by any previous thunderstorms so far this evening. So there's a tremendous amount of instability out there. If you've been watching our coverage over the last couple of hours, Jacob has been showing you the tornadic potential energy, if you will, the tornadic indicators that continue to be rather favorable for this storm, especially into Bates and Henry County. So I want you folks in Henry County not to let your guard down, even though this thing is still way out to your west. I mean, not really way out, but way out enough. I want you folks to be paying attention to what's going on in Bates County, because what's going on in Bates County may very well affect you at some point here over the next half hour or so. We're hoping that the storm does not cycle to produce yet another tornado, but we have probably seen, I'm going off the top of my head here, 5 to maybe close to 10 reports of tornadoes. Jacob's got a graphic up. Let's go ahead and go to Jacob, because he's got some of these reports illustrating what we've seen so far this evening. Jacob.
Yeah, and so I mean, this, Joe, if I can go back here to the storm reports list. So this only goes back to 8 o'clock. So in the last hour, this is a tornado report from Blue Mound on the ground in Lynn County, Kansas. This was from an hour ago. Spring Hill, we had a tornado report on the ground. Our FOX4 Storm Ranger is in Spring Hill right now, by the way. Pleasanton, we had a tornado report. Worland, Funnel Cloud, Amoret, down in Bates County, a Funnel Cloud as well. And it looks like, I'm going to take this, we are in Spring Hill, and this is our FOX4 Storm Ranger approaching what is possible tornado damage right on the Johnson-Miami County line. So our Storm Ranger crew is going to give us a report fully once they kind of evaluate what's going on here on the south side of Spring Hill. But this is the tornado that we were tracking near Hillsdale Lake and Spring Hill about an hour ago. And so they are now looking for some of that damage that we've had reported. So again, thankfully, all of these supercells have remained just south of the Kansas City metro, but that's not good news for those living down here. Ottawa, Kansas has tornado damage. Our FOX4 crew is en route there. We've had confirmed tornado warnings in Franklin, Miami, Lynn, and Bates counties. And in Cass County, this is now more of a damaging wind threat. So I do want to show the new severe thunderstorm warning for the southeast side of the metro. This is from Lee Summit out to Warrensburg, and this is for wide population, okay? This is Jackson, Johnson, Missouri, Lafayette, and Cass counties until 9:45. Over 100,000 people in this severe thunderstorm warning, primarily for damaging winds as this storm is moving off towards the east. So I want to put an ETA track on this storm. It's moving at about 40 miles per hour. And so the damaging winds are going to be reaching places like Pleasant Hill, Lone Jack, Warrensburg over the next hour. Pleasant Hill in the next 5 minutes. Lone Jack 9:15. Kingsville, Missouri 9:25. Holden 9:30. Magnolia 9:40. Chilhowie 9:45. Warrensburg 9:50. And this is the severe thunderstorm warning that is now after our tornado warning in Cass County has been canceled. So one tornado warning still in Bates County. Joe, Lauria has an update on that storm.
Yeah, so I wanted to just quickly, if you're wondering why we've interrupted your programming all evening, and really we're just getting some borderline garden variety thunderstorms within the heart of Kansas City. All the worst has been just to our south, and we're talking only a couple of counties south of Kansas City. A couple of reports of funnel clouds, 16 reports of large hail, 1 report of some thunderstorm wind damage, and 7 reports of tornadoes and some funnel clouds as mentioned. But this was one cell, then it cycled, produced that. This storm down there towards Blue Mound produced a brief tornado, then it cycled and has now produced funnel clouds and another tornado in the far eastern portion of Lynn County. So that's the storm that has now moved into Bates County. Our watch and warning situation sort of looks like this for those of you who want a little perspective. Here's our latest severe thunderstorm warning that just came out. Southwestern Lafayette County, the western portion, Johnson County on the Missouri side. All right, the most northeastern quadrant, if you will, if you break down Cass County into quadrants, the northeastern quadrant of Cass County included in that severe thunderstorm warning, and the southeastern portion of Jackson County on the Missouri side, including in that warning as well. There's our tornado warning down towards the Butler area. Again, radar indicated the circulation seems to be near, if not just about on top of Butler, but nothing confirmed on the ground as of yet. But again, want you folks in the Butler area, and if you live just towards the east of Butler, be in your safe spot right now. Let's not play games with that one. And then in northern portions of Miami County, near and south of Spring Hill to north of Paola, we continue to have a severe thunderstorm warning. The potential is there for some 60-mile-an-hour winds and maybe some quarter-size hail for the northern portion of Miami County. But again, for northeastern portions of Bates County, our tornado warning continues up until 9:45. Again, this is radar indicated. The circulation would be probably somewhere right in here. All right, probably connected to that, but very close to the Butler area and just towards the north of Lone Oak. So on that assumption, this would be passing, if a tornado were to form, roughly 3-4 miles or so, just towards the north of Lone Oak, and then it would be passing very close to Butler, way too close for comfort. That's why I want you folks to be in your safe spot, to be on the safe side. I wanted to show you the hail situation with these storms, and there is some good news regarding this. We're not seeing nearly the size of the hailstones that we were seeing off and on over the last couple of hours. I mean, we were looking at near 2-inch hailstones coming down from some of these storms out there towards Franklin County earlier. But right now we're still seeing some small indications, pea to dime size hail, maybe some isolated quarter-size hailstones coming down near and just towards the west of 169 in northern portions of Miami County, and maybe some small hail near and just towards the south of Lee's Summit, approaching the Greenwood area. That might approach Lone Jack, maybe Pleasant Hill, getting involved with that as well. And then once you get a little further down towards the south into our tornado warning and down towards the Butler area, we are seeing maybe a little bit more in the way of larger hail, at least dimes, likely quarters, and maybe something even a little bit bigger than that. And that would be right along that I-49 corridor towards Butler and near and just towards the south of Passaic. So it looks like the worst of the hail will be passing towards the north of Lone Oak. So if you're in the Butler area, want you to be in your safe spot, just to be on the safe side, literally. Again, haven't gotten any reports of anything literally on the ground with this, but Jacob might have an update for that. Jacob.
Yeah, so our colleagues down at the National Weather Service telling me that they are now in the Cass County storm starting to see some spin-up tornado potential in this line of damaging winds.
Goodness.
That is moving through. So I'm going to zoom in and show you where there are possible quick spin-ups. One of them is right near Pleasant Hill, and the other one on the south side of Lee's Summit approaching Lone Jack. So I'll kind of circle these. These are 2 possible spin-up locations, one on 150 highway between Greenwood and Lone Jack, and another one on 58 highway between Pleasant Hill, right over Pleasant Hill, heading out towards Strasburg. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning, a line of damaging winds. We don't have a tornado warning yet, but the National Weather Service saying we are seeing quick spin-ups possible right there crossing 7 highway, right on the Cass-Jackson County border. So again, kind of Greenwood to Lone Jack, another one Pleasant Hill to Strasburg. And I'll kind of turn on the velocity mode. We are actually right on top of the Doppler radar, which is in Pleasant Hill. So we are at the lowest possible level we can be in the sky, just a couple hundred feet off the ground. And that is rotation here on 58 Highway just south of Pleasant Hill. So you can almost see, so we call this the cone of silence, if you will, right where the radar dome is at the National Weather Service office in Pleasant Hill. That's on 7 Highway. And so this brief spin up is possible on 58 Highway, heading away from Missouri 7, heading towards Double C Highway there, and Double E or E Highway out in northeastern Cass County near Strasburg. So Strasburg, I know you're not under a tornado warning, but let's treat this like a tornado warning. Shelter right now. And then another quick mesovortice spin up also right up here along 150 Highway at Missouri 7 between Greenwood and Lone Jack. So that's something we're going to have to monitor in Cass County. No tornado warning on that yet, Joe. But those quick spin ups, they're possible. And I'll tell you, that one near Pleasant Hill looks like it could touch down here pretty quickly, briefly. And
regardless whether or not it actually does produce a tornado, we have seen already several instances this spring. I'm thinking of a storm from last month, I believe, late last March, this past March, that produced 60 to 80 mile an hour winds down towards Henry County, associated with one of these little potential mesovortices, or if nothing else, a little enhanced area of some stronger winds. So Jacob kind of pointing that out just towards the south of Pleasant Hill. Here's the latest in terms of how things are looking. Again, for downtown Kansas City, we've got some rumbles of thunder. I could hear them outside, but the worst of the weather easily passing towards the south of, excuse me, I-70. So again, we continue to have our severe thunderstorm warnings in effect down towards the northern portions of Miami County. You could see the look of things down towards Spring Hill. That's some driving rain going on down there right now. We'll go ahead and kind of take you down towards that general area. Again, our tornado warning, this is radar indicated, nothing reported on the ground at this point in the Bates County area. And in all honesty, maybe it doesn't look quite as good right now. It looks like, at least for the Butler area, it might have gusted out. I'll keep an eye on that little guy just towards the north of Lone Oak. But my hope is that this is just, more or less hail and maybe some 60, perhaps 70 mile an hour winds around Bates County. The worst of this weather is going to stay towards the south of Ballard, towards the south of Passaic. You'll get some hail, as we sort of illustrated a couple of minutes ago, and some heavy rains, wind-driven rain. So I can't rule out 60 mile an hour winds for areas even north of the Butler area, but the tornadic threat north of Butler seems to be, at this point, somewhat diminished. The concern, the new concern that has just kind of cropped up, is with this potential of these little, as we refer to them, as quick spin-ups. Now, these are different than some of the tornadoes that we've seen on the ground down towards Franklin County, down towards Lyon County, down into Miami County. This is a different type of thing. Whether or not there's a tornado or not, you could still get 60 to 70 plus mile an hour damaging winds from these little guys right in through here. You kind of see it almost kind of looks like a little bit of a hook. And the reason why the radar kind of looks the way it doesn't look quite as smooth as Jacob mentioned, we're within a few miles of the radar site. So you don't get quite necessarily as good a nice smooth look to the radar when things are like this. Now that has punched out, perhaps not looking quite as favorable, but that is maybe, let's just say, a corridor, if you will, of some stronger winds. Let's just say it's just stronger winds and not a tornado, all right? And those stronger winds are going to be heading towards Strasburg by about 9:18. So you kind of get an idea where the leading edge of some of these stronger winds are located right now. This would be towards State Route E, State Route Double C. This would be right along 58 and just towards the north of 58 Highway into Cass County. Just towards the east of Pleasant Hill would be a fair representation of where some of these strongest winds are. And as I broaden out the view, just to bring our friends over in Kingsville into the discussion, likewise over towards Pittsville, in western portions of Johnson County on the Missouri side, just to bring you guys up to date, these stronger winds may be punching out towards you in the next about half hour or so. So while things may be kind of calm right now over towards Johnson County on the Missouri side, some stronger winds to your west could be punching out, as I mentioned, and heading towards the Pittsville, Holden, Kingsville area rather shortly. So there's the possibility of some power outages and perhaps some tree limb damage associated with some of these stronger winds being punched out of these thunderstorms. Again, no tornado warnings in effect for Cass County. However, a severe thunderstorm warning continues in effect for Cass County. Jacob has got an idea, as I know a lot of you have been flipping through the channels, about what we have seen for the last roughly 2 hours and 15 minutes that we've been on the air. Jacob.
Yeah, Joe, we kind of started this tornado coverage right around 7 o'clock earlier this evening as the supercells were kind of breaking through the cap out in central Kansas. So I just wanted to show you where we have tornadoes that we know touched down and where we have damage, where our crews are going. So the first tornado warning that we covered about 2 hours ago around 7:30 hit Ottawa. There's tornado damage being reported from several structures in the city of Ottawa, Kansas. Our FOX4 team is there, and we'll have those pictures shortly. Then that storm produced another tornado just south of Spring Hill in northern Miami County. So this was from the same storm, two separate tornadoes that lifted over the Franklin-Miami County state line or county line. And then there was also a confirmed tornado from Blue Mound to Mound City in southern Lynn, Kansas, and funnel clouds as that supercell crossed into Bates County. So that's the main storm tornado damage that we've been seeing. And it also looks like that there's been a damaging wind report now coming out near the Pleasant Hill area. So 60-mile-per-hour gusts on this severe thunderstorm warning that's now moving away from Pleasant Hill into Johnson and Lafayette counties on the Missouri side of the state line. So I did see some of your questions online. How is Kansas looking? Are we done? So the only lingering storm is in Miami County right now. Ottawa, Kansas, we are done for the night. Franklin County, I know there's damage to assess. I know there was a second storm that came through. Ottawa and Franklin County are clear. In fact, the tornado watch has been dropped for Douglas, Ottawa, and Anderson counties. So Lawrence, Baldwin City, Ottawa, Garnett, we're done. Johnson County and Wyandotte County, Kansas, we're pretty much done with the severe weather threat. We still continue the severe weather threat from Lee's Summit to Spring Hill, east and south. So the tornado watch goes all the way to Johnson and Henry County, Missouri. Jackson, Cass, Bates, Lynn, Miami, and Johnson, Kansas continue. That watch until 11 o'clock. Hopefully we'll be able to expire a couple more counties earlier than that. And we still have this one tornado warning now in eastern Bates County. And as Joe was mentioning, it's becoming a little bit weaker. The rotation here not quite as strong as it was back on the other side of the interstate. There's certainly still some rotation, and that is between Butler and Montrose, just south of 18 Highway, between 52 Highway and 18 Highway. So you still need to be in your safe place here in eastern Bates County. This is where the rotation is. It's tracking off towards the east, and if it holds together, would be approaching places in Henry County, likely in the next 20 minutes or so. So it would be out towards Montrose, Ladue there, 9:45 or so, heading towards Clinton. But overall, right now, the tornado environment is still there, but the storm structure not quite as impressive. We certainly still have tornadic ingredients from Warrensburg to Butler, back towards Clinton, and even Sedalia and Warsaw. So this is the zone now south and east of the metro that we're going to be monitoring storms this evening. Joe?
So we're keeping an eye on these stronger straight line winds blowing through Cass County. As Jacob mentioned, a report of 60-mile-an-hour winds in Pleasant Hill. So the leading edge right now is approaching the county line of Cass and Johnson County on the Missouri side. I've put a time frame on this. It's starting to accelerate and punch out a little bit quicker, closer to about 40 miles an hour or so. This is heading towards Urick by about 9:42. Warrensburg, stronger straight line winds possible by 9:45, maybe even a little bit earlier than that, with the increase in the forward flank of this storm in terms of how quickly it's starting to move out and push out the wind. Knob-Noster towards the Air Force Base by about 10 o'clock, Lamont by about 10:08, Windsor by about 10:15. So just to kind of give you a little perspective on some of these stronger straight line winds being pushed out. We did get a confirmed report of 60-mile-an-hour winds associated with this. We might be seeing winds potentially getting as high as 70 miles an hour with some of this push out of some of the winds. Brand new severe thunderstorm warning now coming out. This would include Henry County, Bates County in west central Missouri and southeastern portions of Johnson County on the Missouri side. This is going to go up until about 10 o'clock or so. So a brand new severe thunderstorm warning coming out for some of these counties down towards the south and east of Kansas City. We continue to have our tornado warning in effect for Bates County, but just looking at radar, that storm does not quite look quite as potent as what it did perhaps about an hour or so ago, but we continue to have a tornado warning in effect towards the east of Butler, and that would include some of the towns along Highway 18. Technically includes Ballard, but the worst will be to your south. Technically includes Johnstown. I want you folks to be in your safe spot just in case there's any little motion towards the east-northeast with that cell. Again, it may not be producing a tornado right now. It's radar indicated, and it's moving off towards the east-northeast. For you folks over towards Montrose, be prepared just in case this tornado warning gets extended a little further off towards the east into Henry County. This would be Highway 18 right in through there. There's Ballard. The risk of a tornado would be more down here towards the Johnstown area and points close to Johnstown, and that would include down towards Germantown and maybe even Montrose as far as a future tornado warning goes, if one gets extended further east towards Henry County. The county line is right here, so here's State Highway H. If we're looking at anything, it's going to be just towards the south of Route D, down towards Mine Street into Bates County, right along State Highway H, that general area. Here's Hudson, so this would be just towards the north and west of Hudson, Missouri. A potential radar indication of a circulation, but no report of anything being confirmed at this point. And I should also mention that this severe thunderstorm warning, that extends further off towards the east, this also has what we refer to as a tornado possible tag on it. So while the odds of a tornado are lower, it's not out of the question for you folks over towards Henry County. And again, you folks are under as well a tornado watch, and that's going to go up until about 11 o'clock or so for this evening. The worst of the weather has passed towards the south of downtown, and for the most part towards the south of 435. You've gotten some rain, but nothing too dramatic. Likewise, along the 470 corridor, mostly towards the south of there. This is a pretty good, shot of some real heavy rain and probably at least some small hail. This is heading right towards Odessa. This little area will be passing near, if not just towards the north and west of Warrensburg. And we continue to have these guys just kind of rumbling through northern portions of Miami County, although I have not seen too many reports of any hail coming from that, although 60-mile-an-hour winds certainly cannot be ruled out with any of those storms. Let me go ahead and kind of shove this a little bit further off towards the east and kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at when it comes to hail. And it seems like the worst of the hail right now is going to be towards the east of Butler. So here's Butler. All right, that's still technically in our tornado warning, but there's that Mine Street corridor that I just mentioned. Here's Highway D. Here's Route B. So again, indications are at least quarter-size hail coming from this, again, towards the east of Butler. East side of Butler may be getting some smaller hail, but the main core of this is right along Mine Street, very close to it, just towards, maybe a few miles or so, just towards the east of Butler by, give or take, about 5-6 miles or so. That seems to be where the core of some of the larger hail is, down towards Bates County. So that's one little hail core. Let's take you up into Miami County. Not nearly as impressive, but once again, it's another cell that's very close to, if not on the southern portion of Hillsdale Lake. Let me just go ahead and take this off very quickly just to kind of give you an idea. So you can see where Hillsdale Lake is right there, right? And then let's go ahead and put the hail right back on there. And so this would be right on the southern portion of Hillsdale Lake, very close to Lake Road, dimes to potentially quarter-size hailstones coming from this near and just towards the north of 68 Highway. Here's 169, so this is like round number, 3, 4 for you folks down towards Miami County with some not pleasant weather in terms of thunderstorm activity. Good news, as you could tell, We have lost our red box, so we have lost our tornado warning, and that's a good thing. The tornado warning now has been canceled down towards Bates County. We'll keep an eye on these cells as they continue to move off towards the east. I'm going to continue our coverage for another minute or two, and then we're going to take a little break and then kind of get more into Fox 4 News at 9 o'clock. Now that the tornado warnings are coming down, that's good news, but we continue to have these severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for areas just towards the north of Paola. They're reissuing this one for northeastern portions of Cass County, southeastern portions of Jackson County on the Missouri side, most of northwestern and western Johnson County on the Missouri side, and southwestern portions of Lafayette County near and just towards the south of Odessa. That severe thunderstorm warning continues. Likewise down towards Henry County on the Missouri side, southeastern portions of Johnson County on the Missouri side, hail, gusty winds being the main threat. Okay, so Rob, should we take a commercial break or do we want to jump in with Bria and John? Okay, Bria and John, we're going to bring you guys into things as the tornado warning aspect of the storms has diminished, hopefully for the rest of the night. We'll keep an eye on things, and if another tornado warning comes out, we'll immediately jump right back on. Here's John and Bria.
Guys, great work. Thank you for the coverage. We'll get back to you in just a moment, but we want to show you a few things here as we continue our coverage. 3 tornadoes tonight, Ottawa, Mound City, and Spring Hill, all on the Kansas side. This photo from Braden Schreffler in Ottawa, that's the tornado you see there. Thank you, Braden, for the photo as Fox 4 continues our storm coverage right now with the storm's impact.
Then take a look at this high water, a car there in a flooded road, 231st and Sunflower Road in Miami County, Kansas. That's the northwest corner of Hillsdale Lake. Again, some very high water in Miami County. So Fox 4 is going to be weather aware for a good portion of the week as well.
We certainly have been tonight. Severe weather has already hit some other areas of the Midwest as well. Yeoman's duty, guys. Let's bring them back in. Joe and Jacob as our coverage continues. To wind down a bit.
Yeah, and hopefully that trend continues. And I think we should kind of address something that's been in the back of my mind for the last few hours as I started to see this evolution play out around 5:45, 6 o'clock or so when I started to get a little bit more concerned. We were not expecting what we saw for tonight. We knew that we had a cap in place, and those caps typically protect us. It was weakening as the late afternoon moved along, as temperatures got a little bit warmer, but we were still kind of holding on to the cap. That kind of puts a lid on the convection around Kansas City. We were still holding on to that up until about 6 o'clock. And an aircraft went up, and what happens is they report weather information to us, and we were able to detect that this particular cap, this layer of warm air just above the surface, had weakened enough to allow whatever were to form or whatever were to develop and move closer to Kansas City to turn tornadic. And where these storms originally formed way out towards and west of Emporia, towards the north and east of Wichita, that happened roughly around 4, what time did those storms start perking? 4 o'clock? 4 o'clock they started to pop. The thought process was, well, they would get to Emporia and then perhaps encounter this cap that was on top of us and potentially weaken or fall apart or drop below severe levels. Well, once we eliminated that cap, that allowed these storms to tap into all this potential energy that has just been sitting in the atmosphere all day long. And that's why we saw this borderline outbreak of tornadoes across east central parts of Kansas and maybe grazing the west central portions of Missouri, all just towards the south of Kansas City. And it just also kind of goes to show you, I mean, we just kind of missed out on this by 2 counties, county and a half, give or take. That would have been right up there towards the I-70 corridor. So for the vast majority of our viewers, we kind of just barely missed this one. But for those areas that were impacted, there has been some damage, particularly into Franklin County and maybe even into parts of Miami County as well. We continue to have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings that are out there. This is the one that was earlier tornado warning as it was coming through Franklin, northern portions of Miami County, Cass County as well. But it has weakened to some extent, and it might now just be generating some 60-mile-an-hour winds. This other one, this is the one that moved through the Pleasanton area with a confirmed tornado there. I think there was a confirmed tornado somewhere in west central portions of Bates County as well. It weakened to some extent in terms of its tornadic production as it approached Butler. Thank goodness for that. But it still has the ability of perhaps generating something more than straight line winds. That's why we've got this red outline around our yellow filled in area that tells me that the storm has tornadic potential, but it seems like more of a straight line wind threat for Henry County as well. So that's what we're looking at as we take you down towards the south of Kansas City. The radar aspect of this whole thing continues to be more garden variety stuff near Spring Hill, north of Paola, over towards Hillsdale Lake, maybe some small hail around Cleveland and around the Harrisonville area, and maybe, again, that potential of some gustier winds. Looks like the worst of it may pass towards the north of Holden and hopefully up towards the north of Warrensburg as well, north of US 50. And then we have this storm that's approaching the Clinton area. That's probably got some pretty decent hail, or at least some stronger wind potential right along the county line as we get further down towards Henry County, Bates County as well. This would be very close to the Piper area, just south of Ballard, near Johnstown, and just towards the west of Germantown. If you live in Germantown, I want you to go ahead and take cover from the storm. It's still just west of Ladue. I want you to go ahead and get yourself into a safe spot going on for the next about half hour or so. Jacob has got some more information. Jacob.
Yeah, Joe, so we're also still watching this Johnson, Lafayette County severe thunderstorm warning. And as we've been kind of talking about for the last half hour, there's still kind of these quick surges of wind, possibly a mesovortice or a brief spin up. It's probably not a tornado, but I'm still seeing indications of some of these wind surges right now, essentially out near Chapel Hill and Pittsville. Along 131 highway south of Odessa. So there's this little blip right here near Chapel Hill on the county line, Johnson, Lafayette. And then here's Pittsville on 50 highway at 131 highway. And these two zones may have a kind of significant wind surge that could cause some power outage or damage. And we're even seeing that on the latest wind report here. Again, probably not strong enough to produce a tornado, but a surge strong enough to cause some localized power outages just south of Odessa on 131 and now kind of approaching the Fayetteville area. Eventually, in the next 20-30 minutes, this severe thunderstorm will be reaching the 13 highway zone out into Lafayette and Johnson County, Missouri. So that's the severe thunderstorm warning there. We're still watching for those spin ups. But again, the good news is now all warnings on the Kansas side are done. And we are essentially clear from the severe weather threat on the Kansas side of the state line. And anyone north of the Kansas City metro, no severe threat. This is really now just confined down towards the south. And it still does look like that on this Henry County severe thunderstorm warning down near Clinton, there is still this tornado possible tag on it as the National Weather Service continues to look for possible or brief rotation. So I want to go down there quickly and show the rotation tracker down in Henry County. And I'm not seeing a lot, which is good news. It's still, if there's something, it's going to be right here along 18 highway, right on the county line, maybe just north of Montrose. The good news is this is looking a lot less organized than it was when it was back on the Kansas line, but it's still moving towards Clinton. And so Clinton, this is a severe thunderstorm incoming. There's a lot of lightning with this. The wind's not necessarily showing major rotation. There's weak rotation here near Montrose. It's not strong enough probably to produce a tornado. Typically, we need to be in that 70-mile-per-hour range here on velocity. Right now, I'm seeing maybe 50, 55-mile-per-hour rotation near Germantown, Piper, 18 highway, and 52 highway, heading towards Clinton. But still, Clinton, you probably do not want to be out driving in this severe thunderstorm because there is damaging wind, 60 miles per hour. There could be a little bit of hail, although on the hail tracker, still seeing a little bit of that near Germantown, but it's not as heavy or large as it was a few moments ago. And then there's just a lot of lightning coming in too. A brief quick resurgence of possible rotation is not out of the question with this Clinton County storm because there's still a favorable environment down in this direction. I'll turn on again our FOX4 kind of tornado ingredients. You can see it's still bright red and pink down near Clinton and Henry County. So that's where, if there is still the potential for another tornado this evening, it would be in Henry County down towards the south. The good news is that spin up potential, I think, is near zero from Odessa to Holden, moving into Johnson, Lafayette County, because when we see here these grays, not a lot of tornadic ingredients are very conducive. It's on the north side of this. This atmosphere has been really worked over by all the storms that we've seen come through. And again, to kind of recap the 3 tornadoes that we know about from this evening. One is in Franklin County. That hit about 3 hours ago, and that was out towards Pomona and Ottawa. We have confirmed structure damage to several structures in the city of Ottawa. We have wind damage, power line damage. About a third of Franklin County is without power right now. That same storm reproduced another tornado between Paola and Spring Hill on 169 highway. And then we also had a tornado touchdown in southern Lynn County, Kansas. It looks like that our storm ranger is actually on some tree damage. So this is a home. There's the tree falling now kind of onto the road, and this is in Spring Hill, Kansas. And so this is just some of the damage that was likely near that tornado. Yeah, a lot of branches, a lot of trees down here in the Spring Hill neighborhoods. And we also have our crew in Ottawa, Kansas right now. Hopefully we'll be getting images from those as well soon. So again, the tornado risk slowly decreasing now this evening. The wind threat is kind of the main issue on the Missouri side of the state line. But I want to go back here on the regular reflectivity radar and just kind of loop for the last 3 or so hours what we've been seeing in this storm and how it kind of evolved this evening. So I'll zoom out here and show you. So 4 hours ago, there was the storm. It popped along the dry line in Osage City. It produced a tornado in Ottawa and Miami County. And then we had a secondary supercell form down near Iola produce another tornado down in Mound City. So 2 supercells did all of this evening, as this is now weekend with no more active tornado warnings. Now we'll go back over towards John and Bria.
Jacob, thank you. So let's take a look back out at our storm ranger tonight, which we know is in Spring Hill, where we've been seeing a lot of trees down. Here's a live look right now. And you can kind of see the damage in the area, but we do know that there was a tree down on South Race and East Hale Street in Spring Hill, as we continue to look at a lot of rain, wind, and high water in the area.
Looks like hail as well. You can see on the side of the road there the hail, small hail, but nonetheless enough to make it look like it was a snowstorm in Miami County in Spring Hill tonight. That was the second tornado that was tracked by the guys tonight. Let's go back to Ottawa now, where much of the town has now been plunged into darkness. A lot of power lines down. In fact, Ottawa schools, USD 290, closed tomorrow. There will be no school in Ottawa. Another look now at the tornado that struck primarily the south side of Ottawa tonight, as Jacob mentioned. Damage to some businesses and buildings in that part of town, right there near where I-35 passes through the southern part of Ottawa. The good news, no reports of any injuries or deaths at this point. We're going to continue to keep an eye out and check on that. This is the photo from Braden Schreffler from earlier tonight. Braden, thank you so much for sharing that photo. Again, this from Ottawa tonight. Our storm coverage continues here at 9:40 on Fox 4 News at 9.